you guys can sit together?
Nah, we have a block today.
There we go. Thanks, Liam.
Thanks.
Okay. I also moved to amend the agenda to include, it is the first of the month, so first Monday of the month, which means that every first Monday of the month is an expectation of the executive branch of the company on their site, and that is written into our guiding documents, but nobody has done it in the last 2 years. SGA. So I moved to amend that Brenda is able to give that update towards the end. It won't be any more than like 10 minutes. Whoa. No, we're just going to amend and then at the end just approve all the proposed changes. Okay. Yeah.
No, I was like,
You thought I was wrong?
No, I just.
Sure.
I was just joking.
Sure.
You can go like 3 times. No punchline. Like.
How much time will be for that? You second. 10 minutes left.
That we also
it says 8:45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the time should be 55.
I don't think we're going to count. Right, yeah. 15 minutes. Okay. I want to have a conversation about expectations, but would you rather do it next week or this week? Now remember, that can be happening between conversations, because not all our conversations are going to take 30 minutes.
Can we real quick do just like how long do you think our SGC is going to be? Is Brian middle? Brian?
Hi. As you see, SGCs are not on the agenda tonight, unless for a specific reason. Yeah.
If I may ask why?
Yeah, what?
Because I want to have a conversation about how we're reporting SGCs out. Because right now they're not productive, and that's feedback I'm gotten from many people.
Okay.
Yeah. So, if y'all want to add that on there, we can.
I mean, I have updates.
Okay.
Can we
I'm not saying people don't have updates. I'm saying the way we currently disseminate those updates within this body is not productive.
Can we do the discussion about how to disseminate them and then?
Yeah, and then updates. That's fine.
Just because, yeah, we're going to keep it accumulating. I just think it's good as we get that done.
Yeah, we don't.
Okay. Yeah. I know Candace also had things to say about this, but she is sick, so hopefully she's okay. Other than that, I think this is good. Although expectations, I'm not gonna put a time on this because honestly, this time right here, just to give everybody, like, this might not end at 8:45, might end earlier, might end later. I don't know. It all depends on how confirmations go, and just to put a time, it's just. Okay. So move to approve proposed amendments to the agenda. Okay. Great, thanks. Okay. Everybody looking at minutes? Were there any issues?
Yeah, I made some amendments to minutes. The majority of it is change in capitalization, but there were some things on clarification where they mentioned days of the week, so I replaced those with actual dates to better reflect that, and a couple of things that just need to be clarified. So.
Robbie, you got this right? Did you make those changes? Okay, yeah, cool. Cool. Okay, so these confirmations were given to me without times at first, so just so you know, this is not the order that they're going to be coming in. They're all coming in at different times, and we're just going to roll with it. So, as you all know, it doesn't matter when it's introduced, as long as, well, it doesn't matter whatever happens, as long as it's in the order it introduces itself. So, it doesn't matter 22 that this end or whatever. So, yep. Okay, SGC updates and the conversation. So, in granted in my one-on-one with Candace, her conversation about how currently SGC updates are good, like we're getting the information out, but it's kind of like it's another conversation of where is that information going, or are we really processing the information instead of just listening to it? So it's the start of the conversation regarding, are we making connections on campus on how it's supposed to student body, or are we making connections to other SGCs? And so just kind of trying to figure out. Candace also shared with me that over the past few weeks she's noticed that SGCs take up a lot more time than they probably ideally should. And that we should talk about that. They take up a lot of time. So what do y'all think? I'm one person, so I don't have a solution. Brandon, do you have thoughts before we go into it as a person working with SGCs?
No, I should.
Okay.
Could it be expected that people read the SGC notes ahead of time and then ask for clarifications and discuss in here, but we don't have to necessarily read out verbatim what they've written already?
That's something that Candace had brought up, and I don't think, based on some of the, like, in the past, whenever we've done confirmations, sometimes, I don't know if everybody reads everything before. I mean, if that's an expectation you all are comfortable with and think that you can actually make that happen, then sure. But I don't think that's realistic. Does that make sense to you?
I think it all comes down to like what we actually do with the information. Like we sit here and we give SGC updates, and we usually like bounce ideas off of each other and like I guess ponder things that affect the student body, and then the person who says the SGC or I guess like the briefs takes the information back to their SGC and I guess gives input. But the idea of like disseminating information to like the greater student body has been a problem that we've been like dealing with, or I guess have acknowledged for a long time. So I don't necessarily think that sharing SGCs for a long time is bad. I just think it's not important until we actually do something with that information.
Yeah. So, wasn't the outreach towards SGC, could we get the Department of Communications involved with outreach to SGC?
You want us to add on to that, like 2 points. First off, is I've thought that when we had that discussion, especially with the communications initiative, that the onus for a lot of submissions was on the executive branch, that they would like be doing that. So I think in terms of like us sharing information here is good, but I think we should also then find some way to require someone from comms to be here or have this information get to comms so they can send it out, because as Colin made clear, it's not our job to do that as senders. Therefore, when it comes to solutions for getting out to the greater body, if the executive branch has made it very clear that they have a department for doing that, and that's not our job to do that, then we should be giving this information. That department should then be doing that job. I get that we are sharing information between us, like we should be also trying to get it out. But if we were told that that's not our job, I don't think we should focus on making that our job. On to my second point, I think it's important to have the longer SGC discussions, merely because as senators, like that's one of the few things that because we're on Senate, we can do that, and that a normal student can't do that. And when it comes to the role of the Senate in general, it's to be able to sit on these SGCs and to work on our own initiatives. But since those are like two of the main things that we do, I think it's important that we don't just limit the time on those to a short amount for updates, because that's one of the main purposes of us being a senator, if that makes sense.
I'm just gonna keep it real this meeting. Honestly, SGC meetings, like the updates take too long. So whether that means that we need to start like instituting a like cap of time that's put on each like SGC, including questions and stuff. That's something that Brandon, Candace, and I discussed, is that say everybody had like 10 minutes, that way at most we spent like 40 minutes instead of like an hour on SGC updates. But I understand that I cannot keep keeping you all till 9:30, 9:45, and I'm trying to respect your time. So, yeah.
Just hide them. Yeah. Okay. I disagree and agree with you, Liam. So I think that
I think that one of the problems you run into is like, I feel like you're right, like the SGC is like the only part of this where I feel like that is the most important job we have. Like when it comes to being a senator, like that's the part that gives the motivation to be a senator, to like continue, because it's like you are truly representing the student body. To be honest, the reason I think they go too long though is because it's like, and not to desecrate the holy scriptures that are the bylaws, but like, how long we were doing confirmations like for 2 hours, and while I respect the need to do that, like, I feel like I'm just feel like I feel like I have much more important things to be doing and discussing people's qualifications. Kind of while I understand the importance of it, I think we should dedicate more time to discussing HGCs. But at the same time, also there should be like last time the combination on HGCs got redundant, right? We would get cyclical. That I think that needs to immediately be stopped. Because this shouldn't be just an echo chamber for us to like hear each other's the same ideas, just worded differently. I think it should be as constructive as possible. But I think that you can't. While I would like it to be shorter, I don't think that it would be productive to have it be shorter because it's such an important part of who we are as a Senate body. And I don't think that would be beneficial for our efficiency as a Senate. And I 100% agree that communication should be very clear before you put that information out. That's my
I agree.
soundly second.
Would it be more efficient to hold questions or discussion points until after the key briefing? Each SGC?
Probably. But I think it goes back to Patrick's point, and I'll address that directly, that that's something that as of Friday I've made a point now. So just to let y'all know, like when conversations get redundant, I will be intervening and being like, this is getting circular. So don't take that personally. That's just me trying to make sure we don't all just say the exact same point. Can you let Mary go first?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think SGC conversations are long. So like, do we have data saying that, or not literal concrete data, but like, I don't know, like minutes that track SGC talk?
They're
or
not,
is it just like
so,
a feeling that they're long?
when I say long, I mean like they get off topic, or they don't stay like on the purpose of what sharing out SGCs do.
Okay.
So I think it's more like how we better use our time to understand when we talk about things in meeting or whenever we take it to the bigger outside meeting kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Fair enough, but when do we have bigger outside, like, what do you mean bigger outside meeting?
Like if somebody says something that you think like you want to talk more about or you think is interesting,
Okay.
instead of using the Senate to be talking about that, like having these outside meetings that we talk about.
Okay.
I was gonna say one thing that I learned like in a second to like kind of move away from redundant is just like when somebody gets onto kind of a cyclical like topic, just by saying like new point,
Yeah.
by telling like new point please, and then we can keep moving from there. That would get some good conversation. I would appreciate that.
Okay, so what methods do you propose to like cut down SGC topic? Like, do you want like concrete like 10 minutes each person, or you just want like, I guess, multi-conversation or like conversational techniques like new point? What do you want to do with 10 minutes?
It's more like a both kind of thing.
Okay.
So like me as a speaker getting better about like stop and roundabout conversations, but also you all being cognizant of what questions you should be asking for the betterment of the group and which ones are better for like outside the center time.
Cool. Yeah, we also talked about when we're preparing our notes to share out to the Senate body, kind of like even more like synopsis, summary types of things rather than going like chronologically across the notes that we keep.
Yeah, I think also it's an expectation that your SGC notes are being uploaded to the drive, and so like we sent this in. Yeah, so that's why I encourage you all to put your notes in there, and it's easier if they're there before the meeting than after. That way, if I wanted to pull them up or if people wanted to read them. So my expectation, I don't mean formal expectation, but like a 99% highly encouraged, because otherwise the information that you all take down this year will get lost next year. So yeah. Okay, so we said better controlling of redundant conversations, knowing when to talk outside the meeting, when in the meeting. Any other suggestions before we wrap it up?
refers to like there's some information, actually specifically student dining especially. Like that's information that I like knowing that I think is very important that like we should know, which is like cool. But I don't think there's like they're not looking for student input on that. You know what I'm saying?
Depends on with what.
Well, yeah, but I think if we could try to focus more on like where we can get student input instead of just like updates, because like while it's awesome to know like Dunkin' Donuts coming in, they're coming in like that, we can't wrap into like, oh no, we want another Starbucks. Like, that doesn't do anything for us other than update us. So if we could, I guess, try to emphasize one and like slow down or not slow down, like push down. Like, I don't know if it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's better. Maybe if once we have uploaded our notes onto SGC and we can put links onto the minutes if it's something to load, like before time, we can like cite them and be like, the updates are there, but here's how students are affected.
I think that bogs down the minutes with things that are like in meeting, but I think Patrick, something that you said was interesting. So like Colin does this thing in USC where if something comes to the table, he asks the people that are talking, like, what questions can we go back and ask some Senate or our students that like will aid you all. So I wonder if like when we were in our meeting, say I was in student dining and like they had something and I was like, well, what questions, like what feedback are you all looking for that I can bring back? I don't know if that would help us all whenever we're at our like SGCs to be asking that conversation, because 2 years ago when I was in the Senate, the speaker used to frame it on whenever you shared SGC updates or initiative updates, instead of sharing your updates, you asked a question on like how people can be best supporting you or like what you need from people or how students would benefit from this. So I wonder if that would be helpful. I don't know.
I think once we get a dedicated person who comes to be sharing out SGC updates, then we can shift it to the update section that Patrick was talking about. Would be a separate meeting with senators who had updates would meet with the team from comms or the people from comms to then give them that, and then comms would distribute it to everyone, which of course that would be on that list. So that would be like an email blast, and then during the time rush update, this would be like the question period. But if we can get someone from comms, that kind of like I don't need to broadcast my SGA updates to all of you guys. If I'm going to tell comms, then comms is going to tell everyone.
I push back against email blast like people already read emails.
Well, as an example, but like if we were working with comms, like the update information would go to them, and then comms would distribute that. That way we wouldn't have to use our Senate time to distribute the updates if we already know someone's going to do that. This stuff. Cool. However, they decide to do this, be honest on that.
Brandon, do you all have that set up with some reasons?
Yeah, so hopefully it'll start next week. Obviously, we've been like dying a little bit because of the and stuff. And yeah, that's the latest for that. So next week, hopefully.
Cool. Jared, did you have a comment? Okay, well, if we're good, I'd like to move into actual updates. Who has them?
So I went to the SFAC the owner presentation today. So the owners presented their proposed increases. So all of them want increases under the auxiliary enterprises budget, I guess. So we have University Commons, auxiliary facilities support, what's it called? Transportation and parking fee, and then athletics, of course. So all of them want an increase, and I'm sharing this update to like ask like what you think I should push back on essentially, and I spoke to them about the funding about like speaking to fee owners in conversation and like having a more informal fee forum in Main Street, and they said that Nancy said if she could like pull together funds, but she was basically saying no. And then they asked Marlo, he said he spoke to the president and vice president of SGA, and he said that because SGA is not a fee owner this season, SGA could technically fund the thing and it wouldn't be a conflict of interest. So if you're not trying to do that. Yeah. So is that clear? So like SGA is no longer. Yeah? Okay, so that's.
Are you talking about SAFRB?
No, I'm talking about SFAC.
What does that stand for?
Student Fee Advisory Committee. So for context, more background. Student fee advisory board, we talked about this last, 2 meetings, but that's probably why it's not fresh. But student fee advisory board is student fees regarding like SGA specifically, but student fee advisory committee reviews student fees paid in tuition. Paid in tuition, yeah. And these are auxiliary fees, which are fees that support our academic or educational program. So university commons and then auxiliary facilities management and that. So yeah. This is getting long, but I'm trying to.
Very fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to give the
We need background.
you say?
I said you need background.
Yeah. So the only thing that I have a problem with is the auxiliary facility support, and I wanted to ask like what people thought about that. They want us to essentially pay for the event center. Like they want students to pay for the event center and the debt accrued to like fund the event center. And I don't know how I feel about that, so I wanted to know what you guys thought.
That's what they stated, is that they're asking for students to do that?
Yeah, well, they did it more like, pretty like, but that's basically what they want.
I just want to make sure we had their intentions right before we
Yeah.
get upset. Because I'm upset.
Yeah.
So, wait, can I just clarify, they want students to pay off the debt of the event center?
Yeah. So it's like,
In its entirety?
no, yeah, essentially, but like,
Tack on tuition.
so yeah, tacking it onto the fees that we already paid, or we pay in conjunction to tuition. So they propose a 3% increase every year for us to pay for the addition and the addition of the commons, the rack, and the now new event center. Yeah.
Say something about
Yeah, who is heading that committee?
Then Schaefer.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
And
And if you all want me to ask them to come in and talk.
yeah, I was gonna ask them to come, but yeah, you can do that. And
Yeah, sorry, normally just organizing this for
what did you do?
organizing for the agenda helps if I just reach out to you.
Yeah.
So are there any senators in favor of that? To help out Marion? Or are students in favor of that? Okay.
So, this event center, commons, and what was the last one? The rack, are they all under the same fee?
Yes, that's like auxiliary like facilities, but like event center is like different because it's like an independent entity. So like,
Right.
like it's not like chartered. It's chartered by UMBC, but like you don't have free like access to it.
You can't like walk.
So, yeah.
So we pay this block, and then they themselves distribute it between those three buildings.
Yes,
So regardless of the increase,
but
we
the
have part of that block going into the event center.
yes, but that's like and I guess like the in place block already. But this proposed increase is for the event center specifically. Yeah.
No, so if you would like some help with that, I'm willing to offer that. Because the way the contract is negotiated, the fact that students can't use the event center, and the fact that UBC has to pay every time we use the event center, including convocation and graduation, I don't see why it's a block that those students must work really against the hand. You have to have special swipe access and have to get in there, even so your access is still free. It's not the undergraduate students' job.
Yeah. And also, I found it really interesting that I guess it's because like undergraduate like the undergraduate population like dominates UBC population, but they had a $1 increase for graduate school graduate student fees, and they're keeping it at a $1 increase from last year, but they're increasing ours 3% every year. Yeah.
So, how much is, does anyone know exactly how much tuition is here?
No.
Not on like,
Alright, so I think it's like 26 total coming here with housing. So, let's say you take off housing, you have that, so let's say 13,000, right? let's say somebody told you that they're going to build an event center, and you would have to pay $390 the first year, or $400 the first year, $800 the second year, $1,200 the third
Why are
year.
you doing all this math, Jared?
This is what it would look like with a 3% increase on your tuition.
No, not 3% increase on our tuition, 3% increase on the fee.
Oh, how much is the fee currently?
So the fee is, I can pull it up, but that'll take time. I'll update you with the fee, but.
To provide context for the graduate student fee increases, that they do increases on dollar increments. And so a 3% increase for them would look a lot smaller than a 3% increase for us. That's why they do like $1 increase like every so often. As like they do like 30 cents this time, 30 cents that time, 30 cents. So they don't add by 30 cents, they add by $1 once that 30 cents turns into $1. If that makes sense. So like it would take, for example, a 9% increase to increase that by $1.
Okay.
So it takes 3 cycles before we get that $1 increase. But it's also just like the size of the fee.
I was also going to ask how much is the current fee that we're paying and how much would this 3% increase look over the span of, say, 5 years for a 3, then 6, then 9?
So it's like concretely it's like $16, like more that we have to pay next year. We have to pay next year.
3% is
What?
3% is $16.
Yeah.
32.
Cool. So we have the information. Any other comments?
Just one more. So how exactly would we go about like actually funding like a coffee conversation for the fee owners? Since they said that it was not a conflict of interest, so we could do it.
That's a Brenda Carly call question. What was the question? I don't remember where coffee conversation came from last year.
I think it was the line question.
But I think it was executive, it wasn't us.
Yeah, no, I think it was executive finance.
So if we wanted, so like Miriam asked if we wanted to do a coffee conversation about the fees, students can do that, like yeah.
So, I mean, the word coffee conversation is like associated with extravaganza.
So we like talk about like a coffee conversation as
Oh, coffee on us.
Or
Coffee on us.
The coffee on us, yeah.
Yeah.
That was also from executive. Typically, I mean, it doesn't have to be necessarily, but it was in the past.
Okay. So like how much does that look like?
So should she talk to Colin or you or
Yeah,
Colin?
talk to Colin.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Cool. Good combination? Oh. Okay, so we're gonna go around the room. Maybe your pick. We go around the room. You can start. Can you say your name, your pronouns, please?
Hi, my name is Kim. I'm a senator of the issue of finance.
I'm representing SGA.
I'm Jared, and I'm a senator.
I'm Brandon. I'm a senator and I use he and pronouns.
I'm Robbie. I'm the secretary. I use she, her pronouns.
I'm a boy, I'm a first year ambassador, and I use she, her pronouns.
I'm so happy, and I haven't been prepared yet, but let's say that I will be a part of
My name is Mary Lavaltoga, and I am a senator, and I use she, her pronouns.
I'm Brenda, I'm the executive vice president, and I use she, her pronouns.
I'm Patrick, I'm a senator, I used to.
Hi, I'm Carly, she, but I use she, her pronouns.
My name's Reese, I'm for FYA, and I use he.
My name's Kai. I'm a senator and I was here.
My name is Jess, and I'm just visiting literally. My pronouns are non-binary, so for a while.
Hi, I'm Zane. I'm the vice president of student organizations.
Hi, Lily. I'm the speaker this time. I use she, her pronouns. Jordan, can you give us a quick refresher of what the executive council is?
Sure. So, the executive council is kind of a reworking of what the department systems look like in the executive branch. Basically, we're asking executive council members to pick a topic that they're really passionate about, and then work with executive council members to turn it into a project. So some of the things that they're working on right now is
wanted to get more involved with UMBC. Last year, even though I did show up to a few meetings here and there, I wasn't really too involved, and I feel that now it's time to actually connect more with the school and connect more with leadership and just find a way to be of service to my community around here. And I actually found out about this opening. I reached out to Carly, and I let her know that I was interested in looking for community service opportunities and how I can get more involved. And after talking to Carly, she connected me with the president of the SGA, and after we talked about my interests, he told me that, hey, there's this opportunity for you. You can get to do a lot of community service with it, and I was very interested, so that's how I came today. And I look forward to working with you guys and getting to know all of you more and to just see how much we can build and how much we can achieve this week.
Great, thank you. All right, so we're going to open it up to questions from senators. So do you have any questions to start off with?
So the executive council is kind of in sync with what they're doing. As you've heard, a lot of folks on environmental issues, but what issues did you want to bring up? What things would you like to see changed on campus?
Personally, I would just like to see more involvement in giving back to the community that's around us. We're in Baltimore, and there's a lot of communities that are just really close to us that we could take advantage of and find a way to give back to them and kind of connect with them and kind of to just we're also fortunate. I feel like it's important to give back, and because we're so close to people who can really benefit, I would definitely like to get more students involved in community service.
Do you have any concrete ideas yet, like things that you concrete you want to do with that?
I would definitely say a lot more things that we can do with youth, for example. I know a lot of people do food drives and clothing drives, but I think it would also be good to kind of connect with the kids that are around here and maybe do stuff that are educational, or maybe with music, or just any hobbies that people are interested and passionate about. That's something I look forward to doing, in addition to more food drives and clothing drives and stuff like that.
How are you tentatively looking at this semester or next semester in terms of being able to get work done and being with the rest of the executive council?
So my schedule right now is usually 15 credits, but the way I have my schedule set out, I definitely have time throughout the day, every day of the week, to just allocate to getting stuff done in SGA. So my schedule is pretty flexible, and I will be staying on campus, so I don't have to.
Actually, this is a question. What is the community outreach look like in all the council right now? What do you guys have to do in terms of community service, community outreach? Perhaps we're talking here.
So, in terms of community service, actually not much, which is why we really appreciated hearing our perspective, because there haven't been any projects brought up in regards to community service and things like that. So, we do have one project going on about with a peer mentorship kind of thing, but that's more for new and students. So, yeah, we're looking forward to starting this project.
Oh, did you just give me another number?
Well, I was just going to go.
Oh, okay. Other questions, or should we move into discussion? Yeah.
What drew you, besides, you've already kind of said it, but what kind of draws you into SGA and why do you want to help out? Why do you want to do this?
I would definitely say not only because I do want to get more involved with campus, of course there's so many different clubs that you can do that, but I feel like SGA is really the main club that kind of connects you with everything that's going on and everyone on campus a lot better than smaller clubs. And I feel as though if I'm looking to do community service and do really big projects, it would be much better to use a platform such as SGA to get more people involved, because we have more of a stronger voice
So I actually wasn't there when they met, but I heard great things from Colin. I know that's like really vague, but I wasn't at that meeting, so I don't know.
And Colin's at an alumni meeting, so that's why he can't be here. Does anybody else have other questions?
Discussion point. I think it's a really good question.
We're gonna do it separately. So if there's no more questions, then we'll move to discussion.
I thought we were going to do a discussion.
Alright, so there's no more questions, then we'll move to discussion.
I think I could go a bit more stuff on executive council besides environmental sustainability. Start with that. Because that's definitely, while I was like, you know, how I people the same, but kind of hear what they're doing, it's good to have that perspective. It's another thing. So I'm happy with this, especially as it does reach out and gets us more inclusive, which falls in line with what we're trying to do with community, getting more people around Baltimore County involved as well, and with our extension terms.
This is just a point of recognition. We work with the Choice Partner at all. They do a lot of good like youth opportunities and stuff. So Eric, if you want to be contact with that, I would encourage you to send forward things to the SGA so that we all can get involved with it. Alright, if there is no other discussion points, is there a motion?
Move to approve SL 22-1819 as amended. So,
Beautiful. Member Sanders, what? Okay, and with that, the motion passes. Hey, where's their advice? I don't have it over. I have most of them ways, but maybe not. Alright, so going over here, I told you. Huh? Can I see your name? So you raise your right hand. I state your name. Do solemnly affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of member of Executive Council of the NBC Student Government Association. I will, to the best of my ability, promote and defend the interests and well-being of the NBC undergraduate students. Cool. Alright. Great. You all beautiful. Feel free to stay or go. You're more than free to go. What? It was
right now, choose the question.
yes.
I guess she has to follow up with Candace.
I was about to say, yeah. So the SGA advisory, she's currently out today. She should be reaching out to you soon about payroll and like all those things. So just make sure you're out on like one of your emails. Okay. Have a great day. Okay, we have somebody coming in at 6:30. So we like 15 minutes. Okay, so Miriam, you got all you need, right? Okay. Who else has issues get updates? No? Hi.
Okay. So, I don't know if you saw my email that I forwarded from the U.S. State and Stewardship Committee, but basically, for those who haven't read it yet, basically the chair is asking either from SGA or sustainability to fund 3 no-mold signs. No-mold signs. Or I guess for the Columbia growing. But it's going to be $325 from Jill Transportation. So they're wondering if SGA would like to fund this. And before I really go move anything forward, I just wanted to hear your thoughts about SGA funding.
Did you see my responses?
I did, but I was a little confused. So
year for some of it. And to my understanding, we're trying to have this initiative based somewhere else because for sustainability reasons, the SGA is not the most sustainable organization to be continuously supporting a year-to-year initiative because we get so much overturning like positions and things like that. So that's why Caillou had asked if Tom B, who works with environmental stuff on campus, and other people. So I think you should go through that first, and then you can ask them if they're willing to fund it. Because by us monetarily supporting it, in some ways we're continuing to support it, and people can provide themselves. So it's more like they're asking us for money now, but if we do it now, like that's a precedent for them requesting money from our fund to do that. So the Senator Initiative line item is specifically used for initiatives that are getting started and stuff, not really like making something necessarily. Not saying we couldn't, but making sure that's like our last point that we need to use in some sense. Yeah, and then talk to Colin about if that should come from SGA or the Senate. Yeah. But if it did from the Senate, how do you feel about that? That way you know.
Right. Personally, I think as long as we don't have any other place in hand for that money, I don't see the problem with it. I think it's a Senate initiative.
We don't know. See, that's the thing, is like next semester somebody can have an initiative that they will fund it. And if you use it now, you can think about like, it's a small pot.
Well, I mean, the thing is, right now we have something to use to fund it. And if that's the best mechanism to do it, I think we should take that opportunity. Because again, like you said, we don't know we're going to have something in the future. And we actually had a pretty decently sized pot. We had $2,000 now. It'd be what, $325 you said?
Yeah.
So.
And so we get we have a $2,000 pot every year. And do we have reserves at Senate? Okay, so this pot is just,
That's all we got.
okay. And like if money gets used from the pot, it's replenished? Or?
Depending on where the budget goes next year, depending on what we approve as a Senate and what the executive board proposes.
So historically, it's been replenished?
Yes, but it's been, a lot of times there's a talk about it being used, so I see both sides of it. Either they're using 325 from it, is still going to put it in the future, so I still encourage you all to think about how we can try to use it, but
What was the issue?
the fun.
What do you mean?
Like by not using it every year.
By using 325 with the issue? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
it's still good.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's what I mean, like I see both sides of it, I just want to make sure that it's the best use of money. Because we've had things in the past where like, Felix had used basically all of the pot, and if we had made decisions before that impacted that, we would have been able to do it.
Yeah, I think if the other department is more fun, if we're not really fun with that, give us what should do it with us, especially one of our salaries are create this initiative. It's not our responsibility to do it for 20 years, but maintain it in the short term still. I don't have the contacts and Jared and this
I'm looking at the same way. Historically, with a few exceptions, like a lot of departments in SGA have been under their budget. One exception is allocation of finance where it's leaving out. But since like we don't really lose the full amount, I don't see a reason why we should be hesitating now to do it. I get that 325 out of 2,000 is still not a small amount, but at the same time, that still does leave us across the wage of between 1,600 and 1,700 for next semester. I think the issues are we might want to look at as well. But if we always hesitate on the fact that we might need it later, so let's not use it now, then we may end up not using it, and then nothing gets done. Which I see as it's worse if we spend now, we don't have enough, we have to kind of make it stretch out to last later, than to not use it, end up not using the money there, and then they either don't get their local signs or if they don't get anything back, then the part that's kind of just lost in the money. So if it goes through and they say they can't do it, then I have no objections to funding it in the present, or ask the executive council if they're working on it. Since the what I was thinking about is initiatives for environmental sustainability might be worth also asking that.
Senate has done historically a really poor job of using their pot. It used to be $5,000 and it got cut down to $2,000. So
Yeah.
I encourage you all to find money where you can. Hold on one second.
So I think then I completely agree with Liam's point. Then I'd rather use the money where we can, anywhere it can positively impact and sustain one of our initiatives. If it cannot be sustained by another entity, we should be able to, I guess, keep it alive. And also, what on what grounds can we use that pot? Yeah.
So the Senate initiative line item is used for any amount of money that is needed for a senator initiative that comes out of the Senate. So that can be something like if you're bringing a bunch of politicians to dinner, you can potentially use that for Skyline luncheons or something. Or but the thing is that you have to write legislation. It has to pass the Senate, and that is how you access those funds. My issue is not the amount of money. I want to make that clear. My issue is by funding one thing, people continue coming back to you to fund that same thing. And we see that with how people just expect money year to year. And I think also understanding this is an administrative thing that's working with other administrators on campus, that I just don't want to put future senates in a position where they're continuously year to year being asked, and then just understanding the way precedent works, that people will come into this room and be like, well, last year we funded it, and the year before we funded it. So just, that's what I'm saying, is think about the precedents being year.
Well, until we have something else to put the money toward.
I don't think that's a reason to start a precedent.
No, I mean, it's not even about the precedent. 'Cause at the end of the day, we still have the final say on whether or not we fund it or not. You know? So,
I hear you. We're just on
I don't think the precedent's a big concern, to be honest.
For me it is.
Okay.
Brandon?
I'm just saying.
Would it be worth establishing a relationship between the executive members that are doing environmental sustainability and the people working on this project?
I'm not sure. Do you want to repeat the question?
So is there any benefit to establishing a relationship between the executive members that are working on environmental sustainability and people working on science that they want?
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. It would depend on if there are executive council members that are interested and have the capacity.
So, to the best of my knowledge, the executive council, the environmental sustainability wise, it's gearing more towards plastic usage and solar panels. There isn't any towards the greener aspect, gardening plots.
No, so they're working on really specific projects. So,
Right.
Yeah, if they were willing to take on an additional project. Very.
So how does executive branch and the SGC partnering with each other address the issue of us funding the thing?
I think because it all comes from a different pot of money. So
Okay.
if it's housed within environmental, that is specifically the topic of what we're funding.
Mm-hmm.
So it has a better chance of being continued, though we still don't necessarily want an expectation that people year to year have to be working on a prior senator's initiative.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the issue that we come into on the bigger initiative side of making sure that your initiatives are sustainable, because somebody left something now that people have to keep maintenance for, and there's no system set up to keep it maintained. Does that make sense?
Yes. So to address that, I don't know. It sounds as though we're talking about it as something that's not our thing, but we said that it was a Senate initiative. So it's it's a Senate initiative.
Prior Senate.
So yes, I understand that it's a prior Senate initiative, but I think future Senates would regardless of independent of precedent, future senators would have the choice whether or not they want to continue to fund it or not. The same way that we have the choice to not fund it this time.
Yeah, I think for me, my point is that it's my understanding that no senator took on the initiative once we left, and nobody intended to keep working on it. So instead, it goes back to the whole system thing. There's no system set up for this. So instead, old work is being put on you all, and that's energy that you all cannot put forward for other things. Does that make sense? As in, like, the Senate should be getting things done, and that's taking away that energy. So, Leo, I'm going to let you go. I want to hear your point.
Pardon?
Leo had a point.
Okay, Leo,
It's, I like it. I think it's your
So there's 3 signs. One of them was from prior SGA initiative, which was the pollinator garden, and it's just a no more left for pollinator. The other 2, I'm not entirely sure if it was a past SGA initiative or the Senate. It's a water quality and habitat enhancement and the butterfly habitat enhancement.
Yeah, so now they're playing games.
So I'm not entirely sure if those 2 are.
I don't think so.
Right. So knowing with that knowledge,
Yeah.
what do you?
Hold on, Leo, and then Patrick.
Yeah, so that does change things a little bit in my mind, just because if only 1/3 of that is our personal initiative. At the same time, like, that's kind of how most other senates and bodies work, where if we pass something to our student, we agree that it's something we want to do. I don't think that just because our membership is going to turn over the next year does that, because I mean, the actual senates on all levels of government, theoretically, they could all be replaced in one election, but that doesn't mean that the stuff that they passed when they did no longer matter. So I agree. I see the worry of setting that precedent where it's like suddenly out of the 2,000 every year, maybe 1,200 is expected to go to prior things that aren't the main focus of the Senate. But at the same time, I don't think that just because that said senator no longer is here, that issue is no longer important. If it originates in this body, I feel like it's important for us to at least take that into account and fund it. Well, not necessarily fund it, but take it into account. Understand that it was a senator's work. We are senators now. Some of us might be coming back next year, some of us might not. That doesn't mean that because we're not coming back next year that our initiatives and projects no longer matter. Otherwise, there's no point in starting to get work done if we have no follow-through. That's the thing.
Cool. This conversation is getting repetitive. And we've also gotten incredibly off topic, and it's blown a lot bigger out of proportion. So all kind of asking is if we want to give free 25. And that's partially also my fault, I'm saying. But recognizing that, do we want to continue this conversation until Kai can give more comment, more understanding of his orientation to it? Patrick, do you have a good point?
Yeah, good point. I was just saying, well, actually cutting back to the very first point. I think, say, we don't really want to fund this. Please fund us if you can, so you can keep it, in your department. And then, if they say no, I guess then bring it back and we'll have a more substantive discussion on whether we're actually going to give them that money now or not.
You can also find out if the other 2 signs are related to the pollinator program or to any of that, or if it's just they're packed them all together as well signs.
Yeah. That's a good question.
Okay. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to Tom, the chair, and I'll get back to you next week.
Thank you. Did you have other issues here?
No, that's all.
Okay. All right, friends. Hi. How are you? Okay, so we have another confirmation. She does need to leave by 7 though, so I ask that we respect that. We tried out for confirmation the last time longer than 30 minutes anyway. So round of introductions. Name, pronouns. Who wants to start? Say it.
I'm the Vice President of Organizations.
My name is Jasmine. I'm visiting. My pronouns are non-binary, so you can share your name.
My name is Kai, Senator Keaton.
Reese, first year ambassador, Keaton.
I'm
I'm Patrick Esther, Senator Keaton.
I'm Brenda, Executive Vice President, Chamber Friends. I'm Nicola, Vice Ambassador, Chamber. I'm Robbie, Secretary, Chamber Friends.
My name is Brandon. I'm the Assistant Speaker for Senate, and I use Keaton pronouns.
I'm Jared, Senator.
Hope, representing SGA Senate.
My name is Leon, I'm a Senator.
And my name is Martha.
I'm Lily. She, her pronouns. Okay, so if you just want to introduce yourself, tell us how you got here, why you're interested in SGA, just kind of your backstory to this.
So my name is Martha. I am a fourth-year student here at UMBC.
is there to help student organizations, because a lot of times, a lot of student organizations don't know the resources they have, or if they do know, they don't really know how to access them or who to talk to for those reasons. So that was generally my main purpose behind applying for the position. Also, I just wanted to be involved in the campus community in an even greater way. I am a part of my organization, but that's kind of just the organization, but I wanted to see if I could have a wider outreach on the campus. So.
Okay, so questions from my side?
I'm nominating Martha for the SOC rep, which is the Student Organization Committee representative. And so what the Student Organization Committee is, first it's made up of half campus life and half students. So myself, Daniel, and Martha sit as like student representatives. And then so far it's usually been Courtney and Tori, new coordinator of student organizations on the campus. And so a lot of what the committee deals with is we, like primarily we deal with like news organizations. If you want to form a student organization, that's like your first step would be coming to this committee, meeting with either like Tori or Courtney, and then they would bring us like their constitution, their outline of the student organization, and like just making sure that they have like a sustainable plan if they were to be approved. The SOC also deals with like organizations that want to make constitutional amendments and other changes to the organization. That also has to go through us. And kind of what Martha said as well, like the SOC rep is usually the person that is the contact for students throughout the process of SOC. And she's also free to like work on other initiatives if she sees that student orgs are having like issues in general with certain things. And working with myself and Tony Courtney to kind of do some collaborations on what we think might improve the process. So yeah, and just on her behalf, from her previous leadership experiences, her current experiences in leadership, I kind of knew right after the interview that I really wanted Martha for this position because she's really experienced and just her involvement on campus and student organization had a really good impression on me that she'd be a good fit for the position. So.
Great. Thanks, Sue. Patrick, did you want to start?
I was gonna say.
Cool. Great.
So as I mentioned that you had a previous experiences, you mentioned your own organization. Can you talk about the different organizations and your positions in them that you've been through in the past?
Okay, so mainly for now, earlier on, or earlier in my years at UMBC, I was a part of BSU and ASA, and I was just kind of a general member, but now I'm a part of Applicant Office Sorting Incorporated, and I'm actually my chapter president. So a lot of the things, well, I'm the president of my chapter, so I have a lot of qualities of working together in a team, leadership, kind of conflict resolution, and other things like that. I am also, being in my organization, open connecting with a lot of other organizations, so not only do better organizations, but other organizations on campus, etc., and things like that, for partnerships, collaborations, and things like that. So I feel like that experience has put me in the right position in order to do this job, because I have experience with not only my organization, but other organizations on campus as well.
Great. The reason you guys pushed back COVID tonight, did you push back COVID tonight for this? All right, that's a lot of stuff.
Are you in the breath?
Sure.
I was gonna ask, what are some of the issues that you see with student orgs that you want to help with? Or like,
okay, so personally, there just aren't resources at all, because as an organization on campus, I know we're supposed to be entitled to certain things and things of that nature, for example, like printing, for example. But it's like, okay, so who has the printing code? Where do we go to get it, and how do we use it? And it's like, I've been in my organization for 2.5 years now, and I still have no idea. So just little things like that, that doesn't seem like it's a big issue, but yeah.
I'm sorry, you was first.
So this position is going to take up a decent amount of time. You have to meet with a lot of other organizations, either meet with the board for your body to
leadership is flexible. I usually work from home, so I don't always have to be there all the time. And classes, usually, I have classes every day, but they're not like working out. So it's a big things like that to really feel that flexible.
So I know that you're talking about like making sure that resources are available to all organizations. They know which resources they have available. What are some ways that you thought you could disseminate that, or like are there situations that you've experienced where you were like nothing about it?
One way I was thinking about disseminating that information was probably, I know we have connecting orgs already, but I don't know how the participation looks for that, but I feel like we could make a handbook of some sorts and have it distributed to every organization, the president, so that they have that solid copy there. It could always be passed down. If alterations are made, just make it again and reinstate the handbooks.
This is really much the party, and then sort of like to bounce off Martha. Do you guys have like a version of like this position for finance for it, or?
No.
So when I was like working on the Mythbusters event for Saturday, like I was talking about like a lot of myths about SGA, like I guess like surrounding like finance board and like funding, and I feel like that's like one of the main issues with student orgs. They don't know like how to go about funding. So how would her position, like, I don't know if you could speak on this too, how would her position coincide with that responsibility?
Yeah, that's kind of, and that would be like discussions that Martha would be part of as well, like kind of like me, like myself, Carly, Courtney, kind of like talking about that. Like we did a treasure manual, some of that like needs to be updated, and like taking suggestions for like the website to go on the funding, but also kind of like she said, like making a student work handbook and things like that. So it wouldn't primarily like fall under one person, I guess.
But I think we definitely like collaborate on that because there are edits to be made to the treasure manual, and it doesn't have stuff about like general stuff about like how to do more fine printing. It is based solely kind of on like how to get funding, and which sources of funding, and all that stuff. But I think that could be perhaps like a general handbook, or it could be like two separate things, or it could be just like flat on that. But yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's a good.
Discussion points. It seems well followed. And it seems like you have really good experience with student organizations and very big student organization concerns that I think really well suited.
Yeah, also, like I mentioned, so right there, I really appreciate you guys' competition on access to people, that shows a lot of dedication to this.
Alright, let's do it. No, somebody else.
Motion to move to approve SL 261819 confirmation Martha Acha as student organization committee representative.
All right.
Whoa, is that kind of for a second?
I'm trying to empower other people. Okay.
Second sentence.
Alright, so number center is 4. I guess. And that here 2. Okay, cool. With that, motion passes. Congrats, yay.
I'll send you
So you can take it over. And just repeat after me. Raise your right hand, please. So I state your name. I do solemnly affirm. That I will faithfully execute the office of Student Organization Committee Representative of the UAPC Student Government Association. I will to the best of my ability promote and defend the interests and well-being of businesses and American students. And the SGA advisor should probably be sending an email about payroll so you can keep that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah. Congrats.
Thank you.
I made energy discovery in the city. That's what they have. They have a ton of hard chocolate that they're not eating because nobody likes it. So I'm just going there and gobble them all.
Why did you tell me? Chocolate.
I love
It's long enough.
And you know which one I typically love? Dove. Dove dark chocolate. It's just so expensive, I can't bash myself. But it's like, yeah, from the small quantity, it's like $7 a pack for like not long. Yeah. So my teacher in class, like, she's tapping her desk and she's like, I'm sorry, I need to pull back. No, her desk.
Yeah, why would she keep them in your desk?
Because someone gave me to her and she like didn't know what to do.
Do you know what time the appropriate is? I didn't even know they were
I don't even know what appropriate is. Apparently it's 7 o'clock before you go.
Should I CC at Colin? I have my email.
Yeah, so they usually do that 6 o'clock.
Yeah, and me.
Like an hour before you
Okay.
But what is appropriate?
It's when they induct their new members to the sorority. Have you heard of like Divine Nine?
I mean, no, I've heard of Divine Nine because like black people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I've never really been, like I've been fascinated because like
You've never been to? You haven't gone to any?
I've never been to any.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like
you should just go. It's a good time when it's not cold outside.
Really, I'm excited now. Now I'm getting to like.
I mean, I don't know if we're gonna make it out of here in time, especially if it starts at 7.
Is that what?
I mean, usually they come in like 30 minutes later.
What's the one on the wall?
But they just be looking wonky. I don't know.
And it's like,
Oh,
What's
is
that? What's that?
Yeah, that's
like
that.
that.
That's
I probably look like a whole mess since last week. Oh my god.
Is it a short?
No worries.
Anyway.
Because they have I think I've seen their induction ceremony.
Sorority, like sororities and fraternities, like
It's a
fascinating
historically
because
black,
they really
like,
like
African
ride or die for each other. And it's like, was it ever that deep?
We're on camera.
Oh, it's like that.
Yeah, I mean that's just mine.
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're apparently like very like.
But the one that I enjoyed, like the most, like the first one I went to was the Alpha Program.
Yeah.
And you start coming
It was really great. It was cold outside. It was so cold, and it was the amphitheater.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
in that area, but it was.
No, it got canceled the past 2 weeks because we were supposed to be Newport.
You see that? I don't know. I
And
see
it's
videos
like-
and I'm just like, why?
it's
Why would anyone?
3:30.
Why?
It's Polly.
But I
And he's like,
can
as long as
understand.
you come in and do
You like,
work,
yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
I'm like,
And even
I don't know.
Yeah.
I know, right?
We're going
I'm just like,
sorry, because they usually don't last more than an hour.
bye everyone. I'm going to send meetings for next semester. I have a class this time.
Okay. It's okay.
I'm not skipping, it's just canceled.
And then afterwards,
It's okay.
Bye, Mary. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Then you probably saw my reply.
Yeah.
There was
To Sarah. I didn't
the
get
last
to
semester was
have.
one. There was only 2 people playing. That was the same. That was interesting, just watching two.
Only 2 people?
Only 2
Because
people.
this is the thing.
So they have to like memorize like a bunch of like Greek letters and like stories and yeah.
Like anything else. Like anything else means you don't always
Are you a swimmer? Did you ever pledge?
You said what I?
Did you ever pledge?
So like
I mean, if I did, I'd be in the store.
Oh, I thought pledging was like the precursor. Like I felt like
we don't
I mean, that's like the pre, but then the intention is after you cross.
crossover. I see.
Yeah.
I see.
So this is the crossing.
Oh, geez. I just like black people just make everything more intense. Like the white girls just like have some cookies and cake, but like
What are the last words?
Divine Nine.
Divine Nine. You're not familiar with it either?
They're apparently like very.
They're very, very serious.
Yeah.
There's 9. There's she. Yeah, she's the president of Alpha Kappa. Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority.
There's a letter separating.
They're the first black woman sorority formed.
I know like in the DMV area, like the sororities are like very like old.
Delta something.
Like
Delta Sigma Theta.
I
That's
was
the
in
second one.
Delta in high school. I was in like a sub-chapter.
Oh, that's cute.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We have those.
Those are fascinating, right? I don't know.
Isn't it
I don't know. But apparently it's secretive.
So like cloth, like please, like
Oh,
dark
like-
candles.
I definitely yeah, those are like the really like my ancestors just slave like slave owners rather. But yeah. Yeah.
Here it depends. I mean, they all do some covering of their face, and then like towards the end they unveil themselves. So, because the point is you're not supposed to know who has been going through the process. So all their like they'll wear sunglasses or like masks or something of that nature.
It is really scary. It was interesting.
Like Towson had theirs, the AKAs had theirs yesterday. And theirs, it's always hella women. Like last time it was like 40 something. This time it was less, but it was still a lot.
Do they take everyone or just say
No, you have to have like, they're really serious about it because it's like
our next step.
not an honors thing, but they have a GPA requirement and then things that you have to fulfill. Like the whole thing is empowerment of the Black community. That's the reason why they're in the first place. Because we weren't allowed to be in weapons. So we made our own.
So, okay,
like we like to do it.
The first thing I wrote, oh my god, this is why I have to take notes. Okay.
So
yeah.
They are turning.
I mean, they will forever be interesting. Like, but like, it's sometimes it's like, oh my god, that's so cool. But then sometimes it's
So,
like,
there's a concern no, because
this is just like can't be me here.
right.
There were concerns on whether
I like realized that just the DMV area is like very like, because I feel like the first Divine Mind started in the DMV area.
I mean, it started at Howard.
Yeah, okay.
So, well, most of them. Some of them didn't, but yeah.
Wait, did Alpha Phi Alpha start in Howard, or I think it started in Cornell?
Some, I don't know the history. That's something that you gotta read about.
Yeah. But the history's not even like, the history's not even online. Like I remember
because it's supposed to be like
secretive, yeah.
But yeah, it's very like the southern.
Yeah.
Oh, you should mention that,
and I do feel like UMBC's like sorority and fraternity presence is not even that like that I guess like big. Like I know that
because some of them aren't allowed.
Yeah, like
some of them. Yeah, that was a really big thing with Rubowski. When they came up, he was like, "Why out here?"
Rubowski's an alpha.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I think an alpha and a sigma, which is weird.
Never mind.
It says it in his own Wikipedia page that he's an alpha and a sigma.
That's weird. I don't think that's right. But I've never seen him at any of the stuff, so that's surprising.
You go to stuff often?
I went to
Flashing off?
I did. Yeah, I went to I haven't seen it. Or at least they didn't
I remember there was this like one thing that like I saw in the news, like they were marking the anniversary of like the big like Alpha Sigma fight that happened in like.
You see that at the protest, it's really funny. Like they just like throw jabs at each other. It's really entertaining.
When they put on knock if you butt, I die.
It's so messy.
Why?
Because that's when like shit goes. That's when like people.
Oh yeah, when they start. What? That's like the song that all of them have. They start strolling.
What song?
The Deltas. Oh my god, were you there at the BSU like dance party at the very beginning of the year?
I don't go there.
Holy shit.
Messy or Robbie?
So there was downstairs in the
Oh yeah,
the Deltas strolled through. I was like, oh shit! I'm gonna get keep from there.
Wait, what? I want to see like that.
Are you really leaving?
Yeah, he's popping out there. None of the rest of you guys can leave. I'll go out there at the end of the meeting.
Oops.
That is so rude. Why didn't I go to probate?
Wait.
Because we do have a quorum.
Oh, that's the reason.
Is it?
Finance board has one, and according to the bylaws, like 86. Finance board has a quorum.
The thing that
I didn't think so.
I only like the issue. So in our bylaws, we have a quorum. The issues that
why is this like an solicitation last like event?
But I think it's like
for that.
really.
I mean, but like when people like
It's not. It's like they step and they
otherwise you don't have
show that they know the knowledge of their sorority. Yeah.
So Jared is
Which
no,
one?
so Jared and Patrick's thing.
you look like
there's a half of one where they mentioned earlier, but just like shoes, they're PADCAPs, they do have an obligation to go to certain
AKs. As alphas, that's the guys. If you say kappas, that's the ones with the kings.
Yes.
Oh, okay. But they just woke up and laughed.
I mean,
No, they ask, I believe that's part of it. There's like certain things where like you have to go to training.
I had a friend who
A lot of them are charged
like up by
so
at Syracuse,
but I
I
believe
believe
St.
there,
Corp
it was like a booth,
so since we have 9
like around that
centers,
like
we get these 5
So since
they're really gonna be here at the field there, and I think like this like he was not supposed to tell me, but he didn't end up attending, so like or he ended up like dropping out.
Oh yeah.
Like he said that somebody like peed on him, right?
No, man, you're on camera. I mean, I know that they're not watching, but that's like stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the thing too, like hazing. You know that all things, you don't haze.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're about to start. Like,
It's
what's your chest? Sit down.
Okay. Hello. How are we? Refreshed?
A little hot.
Yeah?
Man, it's just cold here.
It is a little warm.
Is it really? Okay.
Alright, so where did Patrick leave?
Yes.
Okay, did he say why? He said appropriate? Great, thank you. Alright, so we have another confirmation that we have 7. But how do y'all feel? Yeah. It's your people coming in, right?
So Berlin, I think came in until about 7:30. I asked if she'd be able to come in earlier, but that's where she could be.
Berlin's at 7:30.
Berlin? Oh, she's a singer.
But I
Isa, yeah, Isa. No, you're right. So I think she was back to me. She has not gone back to me last week.
she got back to me. She sent me something.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah.
Like, y'all can do your work. Yes, so do you want to give a little bit of a rundown for the position though of well, the next person?
So okay. So I thought I will be the project manager for the merchandise and marketing funds. The merchandise fund, typically what was called the T-shirt fund, is now it's about $15,000 total that student organizations have access to use for T-shirts, any kind of merchandise, so it could be hats, socks, whatever. As long as it has UMBC on the design and has their student name on it. There's like certain limitations on like how much can be used and stuff. And it's only available to student organizations who are open to all undergraduate students, so it's not available to typically fraternities and sororities because they have limited membership, or organizations that have like GPA requirements or other limitations. She'll be managing the.
Does that have to be a religious organization?
No, not necessarily, because a lot of religious organizations are, unless they explicitly state in their constitution that you're not allowed to be a member unless you're of that faith.
Okay. I was just wondering.
Like I think if it's Prue or another religious org just had an opening on who could become e-board members, so they're considered like a limited funding organization. So if you're a limited funding organization, you do not have access to either fund. But anyway, yeah, the merchandise fund is basically for merchandise for student organizations. And the marketing fund is for newer student organizations who've been funded who've been created within the past 2 years. And it's basically like a common vision, or not the common vision fund accessible to those new student organizations to use that for their own promotional purposes. So what I saw you doing. Hi, come on in. Yeah, I was just bragging about you. So basically, what ISA would be doing is managing, like, or in being in communication with student organizations about how to access and use those funds, I met with them last week and went over kind of what the bulk of each fund was and like the limitations on it. Since it is pretty much free money for student organizations, it's on first come first served basis, so whoever applies essentially or fills out the Google form in whatever order. And so I said we'll just be reaching out to those student leaders and be like, okay, in order to access your funds, I need you to do this, this, and this, or send me back this. And then she gives them a go ahead. And I already have a couple documents laid out as to like the steps of how to request and use each fund. Shared that with her as well. And so yeah, because there's a limitation on the funds are only open for the first few weeks of each semester. So both funds were closed on October 15th. So for, I guess, now until the end of the semester, IC's job would be to see what, we have tracking documents of who submitted requests and stuff, and your job would be to look through that, make sure that student orders are kind of using their funds, and if they haven't used their funds yet, reach out to them and figure out what's going on. Because it's especially been a problem with the marketing fund last year. That's about $4,000 set aside for that, and only about $150 was actually spent last year. So yeah, not good stuff. So we just gotta be, on top of some learning, like, hey, this is what you need to do, go spend your money. So yeah, put it over to you, and then it'll be open again in spring. Should be on that then.
Cool. So based on that experience, does anybody else have questions for Carly?
I know it was kind of a lot, so.
Okay.
Have you been fielding any of those questions like that? Have you been getting like questions from organizations about things like merchandise and marketing fund so far this semester?
Yeah, absolutely. People just asking, hey, how would I request money for t-shirts and stuff? Basically, I show them to the SGA website. There's a link to the Google form. I'll just give them the link to the Google form. It's everything's laid out on the Google form as they fill it out with all the restrictions on it as well. And then after they submit it, I would reach out to them and be like, hey, I need this from you, or if I have a question about something, kind of go for it. But yeah, so there's been quite a few questions already, and since the fund already closed on the 15th, I haven't heard so much recently, but like just following the student organizations would be like the next step.
And she would come with that. Okay, cool. Exactly. Okay. So, hi. Welcome. We're just going to go through a round of introductions, which you're included in, and then we'll go into just tell us about yourself. So, hi, I'm Lily. You should hear pronouns.
Hi, I'm Kai. Evening pronouns.
Reese, Ian.
Carly, she heard pronouns.
I'm Brenda, the Executive Vice President, and she.
I'm Mary Walter. I'm an SGA Senator, and I use she, her pronouns.
I'm Isita, you can call me Isa, and I'm a new member, and I'm going to assist probably in all the financials, which is related in the other organizations.
I'm going she, her pronouns. I'm Robbie. I'm the Secretary, and I use she, her pronouns.
My name is Brandon. I am the Assistant Speaker for Senate, and I use he, him pronouns. My name is Liam. I'm the Secretary for she.
Cool. And so if you just want to go into like why you're here, what your unique position, things you look forward to, and a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So, I'm actually getting the position of project manager for marketing funds, and I really wanted to join the student organizations and then be part of the UMBC community, being more present on campus, knowing more about student organizations, and trying to have the best approach. I'm a financial econ major, minor in statistics, and I just wanted to be more involved in UMBC life in general. Besides that, what do you want to know about me?
I mean, if also you want to go for now, it's fine. We can ask for the second level.
case there is any issue with the organization's request, what are the answers, and what might be the problem, how to solve them, and who to contact. So we went over all of that. And I also have some experience related to associations and then fundings and stuff prior. I'm a member now, not an active member anymore, of the Landscape International in Mali, it's all in Africa. And also I've been a member of Student Association in Tunis, so I've been the treasurer, so you might not hear about that idea. So I'm kind of familiar with that. Thank you.
Other questions? What are your experiences with student organizations on campus?
Not much, but to be honest, I've been involved with the Muslim Student Association, Muslim. Besides that, I also participate in African Student Association. I don't do much, I just try to go in most of the events. Besides that, I don't have
So how do you, how do you propose to build a relationship with students so they, I guess, see you as a point person to contact when, I guess, like, when in need of assistance regarding merchandise and marketing?
Okay, like if I'm available and then they try to reach me, I'll try to help them the best I could. And also come up with ideas if they do ask me. Besides that, I'm really flexible with my timing, so if I'm on campus and there's something going on, I always try to participate.
Yeah, so sorry, I'm asking a little bit, but so the issue, or I guess like the issue from what I could discern about like the marketing funds is that people or like student organizations don't know about them. Would that be like a good? Would that be like a, I guess like a good like sorry, yeah. So what would you I guess like to reach out to students instead of having them come to you when they need help because they don't know. Yeah, student organizations.
Okay, like normally there are processes that they have to go through, and I think they should have like the steps that were already provided to them. If not, one thing I can do is like try to email like each organization if that's possible, if you're concerned. Like especially with the fundings because they need to spend it before the last day. We can try to email them, let them know they have this amount available and they need to use it. That's one thing we can do. And also like we can also propose them ideas like in what area they can invest the money. Let's say if you like usually it's like t-shirts and stuff, but if they already got t-shirts and they have the funds, they can probably invest the money into something else that will probably be beneficial to them. So we can come up with ideas depending on what type of organization they have. So that's another thing. Besides that, you can also send them reminders of the funds all the time. So and then asking them to keep track of like the processes, and if there is any gap between the time frame, they can always reach out. That's one way of doing it.
So do you have any plans to, besides just sending out emails, to get in contact with these organizations? Because as stated prior, how the kind of people don't really know about it. So I'd rather have someone for this position who will make the active effort to go out to as many student orgs as possible. Is that something that you think you can do, or do you have any other plans to get in contact with said organizations, or no?
First, we have to first list all the organizations that we have, and then try to see if we can find a contact within the organization, either the president or like somebody we can get in touch with. Like the reason why I pick email is like I don't know about their schedule, so we can try to see them in person, trying to find a time frame to see them in person with our group. But then with the number of organizations, like the easiest thing will be probably to send emails, and if there's any contact, like text few people or make a call. Like, there's see who will be willing to actually meet if possible.
There will be, sorry, I don't know. So in terms of like with specifically with the merchandising marketing fund, there isn't necessarily a need to reach out to student organizations, like meeting them in person. I think one of the key, I guess, aspects of like meeting with students in person would be doing treasurer trainings, because there are still a lot of student organizations that need to be treasurer trained in order to use their funds. So that will also be a part of Maris's job, and clearly who's the other SOS team that we're going to be working with.
Alright, there is an issue with also like just sending a general email and letting everybody knows about letting everybody know about the funding, and then who has problems and stuff, they can just reach out. Or we can also set up a meeting with all the student organizations. Any group is interested in using their funds, if they didn't use it, and if they need anything, they can also like just come up and then bring their issues on the table. That's also possible.
Any questions? Okay. Discussion points?
At first I was like a little like weary. I didn't know like whether or not like not presence per se, but like maybe it's because I didn't really know too much about like what like the position was doing. I got the general general idea, but I didn't know that you were like more behind the scenes. But I would definitely say like if you are confirmed, I would definitely say to make an effort to actually get in contact with students, because and this is like a common trend across all SGA. This is not just like student organizations. Like people don't respond to emails, and like I feel like building a relationship is sort of like what's essential for progress. Like specifically like marketing and like funding and stuff like that.
It's emails and in order to make relationship is best to put face to face.
Yeah, just that's kind of like a big point. It is kind of obvious, but being a point of contact too means that if anyone has any questions, they're going to you. And I'm still on the fence on my vote, just because support doesn't seem as if, like, I have no doubt that you have qualifications and you could do a great job in SGA. I just don't know if this position is the right one, because this is, like, even though you can say it's more behind the scenes, you're still a point of contact. You're going to be known by the organization. Because if I have a question, I know who to go to. And I'd like you to have yourself established a bit more on campus with joining other organizations and becoming more involved. And I'm sure that there are other positions within SGA that you'd be a perfect fit in. I don't know if this is that right position, if that makes sense.
I understand. And other position, I am willing to participate, I'm willing to be on campus, and I'm willing to be part of this organization. So I'll try my best.
Yeah, I pushed back on your code a little bit. I think as long as you're working with Carly, you're actually like supporting student orgs and trying to connect with them. I know student organizations aren't for everybody, and like sometimes you can't find your niche necessarily, but I think it's just important though that if that is what you fall into, or if you just have my time or whatever, that you're able to step away from that a little bit and just get to know them. That way you can make connections and they feel like really supporting you and coming to talk to you and stuff. Okay.
So this is sort of like a question for Carly. I know you guys do like for finance board representatives and stuff like that. I see you guys at like student organizations and stuff like that. Like student events, like events specifically events that you funded. I've seen like Daniel at a couple of events like VSA and stuff like that. How beneficial would you say? I think you touched on it a little, but beneficial would it be for ISETA to be that like or have that kind of presence?
Absolutely. So yeah, I talked a lot about kind of explaining like what is the merchandising marketing fund, but I do like I will be requiring like some office hours. We'll be meeting weekly, if not bi-weekly, or bi-weekly, and I do kind of expect as a member to attend student org events funded by Finance Board, and perhaps a few Finance Board meetings here and there as well.
Okay.
So it would be expectations there.
Okay. Any last comments?
yes, and 100%.
Cool. Alright, Representative Swap, or does this? Oh, sorry, thank you. Does anybody want to register any exceptions for a personal bias in a relationship? Great. Okay, Representative Swap. Representative Gill. Great. Abstaining.
Yeah, we just.
One person. This is the vote. So we have 5.
We have forms.
Great.
We have 9 senators.
No, math is hard. I'm not a math major.
We have a majority of members present, but we don't have a majority of the Senate files.
No, you do that actually. Alright, great. With that, this passes. Congrats. So proud. Okay, so if you want to come over here, I'm going to give you the oath. And make sure you don't give it, present it, minister, take it, send it to you, I don't know, whatever you want. So if you can raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Isabel Gell,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of Project Manager of the Merchandise and Marketing Funds
the office of project manager of the Merchandise and Marketing Fund
of the UMC Student Government Association
of the UMC Student Government Association
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
promote and defend
promote and defend
the interests and well-being
the interests and well-being
of UMC's undergrad students.
of UMC undergrads.
So candidates are actually advisors should be in contact with you shortly about payroll and just next steps. So keep an eye out on your email.
Alright, thank you.
Congratulations. Congrats.
All of us will be emailing you either later tonight or later this week, so I'll share more materials with you, stuff.
Okay. Cool. You can go for it.
Okay, yeah.
Is there anybody else that actually said this? Or we saw like a rocking and rolling? Robbie, gym class is canceled tomorrow.
You know?
Right.
But I literally told you that I wasn't coming, so I'm just like,
What a guy. Okay. Really? You wouldn't know. Love him. Love Leo. Okay, so if we have no extra samples, did everybody get a chance to look at the impact campus climate discussion?
campus climate, that's regarding, sorry.
You're fine.
So that's regarding UMBC's like sexual misconduct, I guess.
This is like more like the Maryland College at the like state level, all the reports.
Yeah, but like there was like UMBC's like reports were like highlighted for us to like look at. Is that the email you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
So did everybody get to like look through it?
We'll see.
We have somebody else that's up here.
I was not able.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. What's not able?
Was not able.
What's unable?
Unable.
Incapable, busy, tired, looking for
Which, do you want volume 2 for UMBC?
Sure. $75, $79, right? Overshot a little bit.
Shot is shot. Keep going.
No,
So,
75, Frank. You're on 83 right now. Please keep going up. Right.
I got
You're like a 4-year-old professor. can't put the YouTube channel to the screen. Just keeps playing. Can't get volume working, anything. Okay, so if you were able to look at this, this gives you some statistics generally stating like how many people are enrolled. There's only 13% of people.
it was better than higher elections.
Whoa. But it's amazing.
That's it. The meeting's over.
SGA.
Meeting is adjourned. Okay, so let's talk through some of the stuff. So for me, one of the biggest things was, I know we're considered a PWI, but comparatively to other Maryland system schools, we're only at like 48, 49% or whatever. Yeah, you can come in. We're talking through something, but feel free to join us. Yeah, so there was 41% of people, which is like seriously, I mean, I guess it kind of mimics our actual, like, we were, yeah, you know, but I think that's an issue. And
What's an issue?
that, like, the largest respondents were, like, white people. And that's, like, issues of sexual assault affect different, like, cultural groups and ethnicity groups differently than they do others. And, yeah, I guess the gender breakdown was fun. Fred, what were you saying?
Yeah, I feel like the comparing respondents to general population is pretty accurate, besides this disparity towards Asian responses.
That's native.
Asian.
There you go. No, you said so. Am I sitting at an angle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Native
It's time to be alive.
This is native. Including
Okay,
these are
thank
all
you.
native. This is just like the second one because it's long. But every other percentage seems pretty consistent with general pop.
I'd rather have that. So that's a better, like, as opposed to just one person or like one thing. Like, I'm okay with these ratios because they match our general pop so much that it's like more accurate, I feel. Than if it was like 20% white and more on the other side, that would be at least accurate.
Yeah.
But
I just wish more people responded because they'd be more diverse. That's what I'm saying. You know?
Well, yeah, we'll on the percentage.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Let's move on. Our incentives. Yeah, this is the next page. These are the incentives. And then here's some. Sorry.
I filled this out, and then they told me I got a free $5 gift card, and then they said, "Psych, we sent this a mistake." I got that too. Wow. That shit was so exciting.
So I thought this was interesting, since there was like a pretty strong prominence of like feeling safe on campus, as opposed to, so I think a lot about how we have loud voices in the student body, and then how this climate survey seems to kind of contradict that. I don't know if you all got the same vibe.
No, it's the second sentence on the first paragraph. But also, like, when you have took the survey before the information dropped, as I'll put it. So,
Yeah.
because I remember getting that email, it was definitely before.
This was like last year.
This is from last year?
It was at the end of the semester, right? I think so. Can you scroll up? It probably tells you where it was administered.
No, much.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely before.
And I also find it problematic that in like public statements made by the university and the powers that be, like legality has been like the I guess like winning, like I don't know, like trophy of it all. It's like we are so compliant, legally like okay, but students are being sexually assaulted on your campus, so I don't care. Yeah.
Okay, so scroll down, Brandon. I feel like this second part applies more to like where we're living right now. So 81.1% of the survey strongly agreed or agreed the school would take the report seriously if somebody reported the incident. 73.9% responded strongly agreed or agreed that they would take steps to protect people. In comparison, okay, that's only like a few percent. 81.37% were confident the school would administer formal procedures. 62% believed that it was likely the university would handle the report of sexual assault fairly. Well, sorry, yeah, that last part was the 2016.
When I went through that, my alarm system was the one in the first paragraph where literally half the students said that they received any information about sexual violence. That was
For me, like, a lot of that is, like, somebody that's, like, worked in a lot of, like, capacities. like the information is there and people are told to go to it, but not everybody uses it and or like listens to it, so then they aren't being like present in their like trainings or their information. Like for example, PSAs are technically like a way that they try to implement that during like welcome week, but people like skip it or they don't go even though it's considered mandatory. So like I agree, but I think it's like how do we better figure out how students are mandated to go to things? Sorry.
I see what you mean, but these things are considered like technically considered mandatory. There are no like repercussions in place, like apart from like the Haven thing that like blocks you from like actually it doesn't even block you. No, you just
No,
like
you're not allowed to.
yeah. But there are actually like other universities that have things like that. And I was like speaking to Dr. Young about like possibly like blocking students from like registering from classes, and like there's been chatter surrounding that. And I remember last year, before the whole like scandal, remember the woman who came in from the she was talking about that as well, and there's not really been anything in place to like make it mandatory. Like it's mandatory in theory, like it's not actually mandatory.
I know at least giving context on her, I know her like her project was kind of followed through because a lot of the implementation wasn't consistent with like what we could do legally. And so I think it's like, and that goes back to what you said earlier, like, so then what are we doing about like amending legal things to make people safer?
I think it's also like not just looking at the one-time training things, but like it should be a consistent thing. So for this one, I travel to a lot of the universities. And like for most of the public bathrooms on the back of that stall, there is a thing saying like, if you feel like you've been assaulted or experienced sexual violence or anything, like there's a list of information there. That's literally on the back of every stall. So you see it when using the restroom. And it's just one of those other things where it's like, it's not so much the mandatoriness I'm worried of, but it's like the continuation of that information. Because if you make it like the behavior thing, you do that once and then for welcome week, like even if you don't go to that, like that's all we do. I feel like that's the main issue, just like repeating that information, saying over again, putting like a poster up. Because even if it's just like a poster that no one looks at, you can say, you know, it's there, it crossed your mind. But just like doing it once and done, I think is the main issue. But personal side.
And to speak to like the like our legal reputation, I don't think it's like I don't think it's necessarily illegal to do them or like not illegal to do them. I feel like it's more so like the I don't know like legal presence, like it almost seems as though like the picture that they're painting and like all of like the correspondences between UMBC and like the media, it's always like we are doing everything by the book because we are like this straight edge. It's not. Am I making sense? I'm trying to say like
kind of. I think
it's more so
there's
a
a line
culture.
between what they can do statewide and what they can't. Like because they'll get in trouble at a system level if they do certain things.
So there is a line, but it's I feel like they're sticking too close to the line. It's not really about like what's illegal and what's not illegal. From what I see, it's more so about like how clean we look legally.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be the first to tell y'all I'm college business. So
yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
But I feel you. Yeah. I wish we did not live in a society where institutions were transactional sometimes. It's the best way I can say that. Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about it today yet, but also about saying this 50% figure. It makes it sound like it's like every other student that knows. I want to talk about like research bias and who's filling this out. It's probably people like student leaders that are being trained like mandatory, and making sure that this kind of training is reaching people that this will actually affect. Like that we're not preaching to the choir, but we're taking student leaders and being like, hey, you know, consent.
Yeah, that should be the basic. Yeah.
I think the only student leaders that are technically trained are already like probably somebody really great, but I know they have to do
And it's kind of covered under that, but it's not specific.
I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's covered under like anti-hazing
stuff works. So, does anybody have any other points or things that they want to go over on that?
How exactly do we like, I guess, keep track of our like institutional like aspirations? You know, we have like, I remember last year we were talking about like how other SGAs ran, and we would talk about like speaking to like other universities in the USM. Do you know of any like conversation or like dialogue happening between like other universities in USM and like regarding sexual assault and how they can tackle the issue in a broader?
I personally don't. I'm no longer on USMSC, which is the University System Maryland Student Council, so that's like a system-wide level. But our MHEC representative, Cameron Walkup, actually, he didn't text me. He emailed me today. He wants to come in next time and like give updates on the 2 meetings that have happened for MHEC, which is good, and that's like we expected of him. So that'd be a question that you could ask him on like, yeah, that's like a system-wide kind of thing right now. Especially it's good because it came from MHEC, so he would probably know a good bit about that. I think he said he was. Yeah, he said that he wants to update the Senate on the issues we discussed and hear input from them. He's usually free Mondays from 5 to 8. So we'll have him come in probably next week. It'll be great. Cool. So we'll move on because it's time for another confirmation. Alright, so we just want to do names and pronouns. Feel free to say your position if you want to. I'm Lily. I am the Speaker of the Senate, and I use she, her pronouns.
My name's Kai, Senator, and he, her pronouns.
My name is Reese, FYA, he, him pronoun.
Carly, she, Edgar, she, her pronouns.
Brenda, I'm the Executive Vice President, I use she, her pronouns.
Mary Noel is the SGA Senator, she, her pronouns.
I'm a boy, FYA, she, her pronouns.
And I'll be the Secretary of she, her pronouns.
I'm Brittany, and I'm the College Manager under Colleen.
Cool. So, Brandon?
My name is Brandon. I'm Assistant Speaker for Senate, I use he, her pronouns.
Cool. So if you just want to tell us a little bit about yourself, what made you interested in the position, and like any relevant experience that you have that helps you be better suited for this position.
Sure. So my name is Brittany. I'm a senior year in my major is global studies, and I have a minor in social welfare. I'm super active in the student rights organizations on campus as well. I've been wanting to get more just like interested in the student life and the student government in general. So I tried to find an outlet just to get more involved in my last year. And I thought this was the perfect opportunity. When I met with Harvey, she explained all the duties that I had to go through, what I had to hold for the school, and also since the sexual assault case, I got more interested in like the backgrounds of like just school policy and student government and like how the students can actually impact the administration side. So I went to the protest and the rally, and I went up to her boss's office, and there were like so many students involved, and I wanted to kind of see how to get involved as well, and how the student government could also help me there, as you guys were just talking about. So I feel like it tied to what I was interested in this position as well.
You spoke a little bit. Oh, sorry.
No, you're right. Yeah,
So you spoke a little bit about responsibilities that you would have to uphold. What are some of those responsibilities that you've like, I guess, gathered from your interaction with Carly?
So I know about the email planning and planning finance board meetings as well for the student government organizations. I've been on a few student organizations on campus. So I'm the president of the organization Students Helping Honduras, and I was on the board for the South Asian Students Association for 3 years. And so I've been in many finance board meetings, and so know how they work and everything, how they function. So Carly and I went over the amount of hours I would have to put into the job, and like how I could schedule or help schedule and keep everything organized for the student organizations and keep them running with
first contacted when I was scheduled for the finance board meeting, all that stuff. So she'll be kind of managing that tracking document and doing a lot of the reaching out to student organizations and following up with them about documentation and stuff. In terms of like the actual scheduling for the agenda, Daniel and the finance board chair and I are going to be doing something different starting, I guess, this week for next week's agenda. Is that technically in the guiding documents, the chair is supposed to be the one like actually setting and making the agenda. So I think what we'll be doing differently now, we'll be doing a lot of like the outreach to student organizations beforehand and getting the documentation, and then once they have everything they need to be scheduled, we would be forwarding that information to Daniel with the available time on a Tuesday night they'd be able to meet, and Daniel would be the one actually like setting the times on the agenda. Officially doing that. And I haven't told you this before because we had just come up with this this past week, but that would be like slightly different, I guess. And yeah, other expectations I guess would be kind of generally attending a few finance board meetings here and there, if not for their entirety, at least for an hour or two, and attending finance board funded events.
Thank you, Brandon. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. Brandon?
Yeah, like cut me off if this is off topic.
Okay.
It's what I heard from you, like explaining your interest in like being a part of SGA didn't sound like they're related to this position. When you're talking about things about like the misconduct case, and I feel like if that's the kind of work that you're interested in doing, I don't see how you'll be able to
reframe it as like, so I think what Brandon's saying is valid. So can you talk to the Senate a little bit about how you are interested in the work that you'll be doing within this position, and the interest in like the things that you've been doing that relate to this?
Yeah. I totally get what you're saying too. The way that I explained it, I guess in my mind is kind of all sexual assault case, just as you guys were talking about it, she just like the whole topic, just as we walked in. But as I did go to that whole protest and everything, I saw a lot of, I met with a lot of student government people, people who are in the student government, and I had a friend who also in the student government, and they just talked about like connecting with other organizations such as the people on the sexual assault case, like people who would be interested in that. So I felt like it was my way to just like connect with other student organizations, not specifically that one, but just like did like, I guess, transition. But it isn't before. I'm also on the board of Students Up and Andres and the other organizations. I'm not on the board of SASA anymore, but I just want to be able to connect with different student organizations and help manage them and keep them all like manageable. And another thing I noticed on campus at UBC is that people don't normally like stay in an org for a long, sustainable amount of time, and they also don't feel like they have like a home on campus because the orgs aren't really functioning like kind of 24 hours per day like at UBC. So I thought it was an interesting way for me to like, just step in and be like a manager rather than just managing one club. So just like an interface, I guess. If that helps at all.
Yeah.
So, I'm you fight too.
I think Brandon was fine.
So I don't know if you said this or not, but how would you go about meeting with different organizations?
Meeting with them? Yes, so we will be able to set up the time via email. So the way Carly explained it to me is just like that I'm mostly on email, but if I do need to set up a time to meet with student organizations, I can do so via email and also get their contact information and meet with them. Is that what you meant, like being in person?
Yeah, like meeting them in general, because it's hard to grasp with email. Because a lot of times people don't read their emails. I just want to see how would you go about doing that.
Right, so if you didn't respond within 2 days or so, you can follow up, like I can send them a follow-up email and hopefully they respond.
So, you mentioned you wanted to like sort of like facilitate like I guess like a retention of people in student orgs. How exactly would you do that with your position? Like make people feel like the student organization was their home, like, you know?
Right. So I guess I wouldn't have a huge role in doing that for sure. But I think just like being efficient in emailing people and knowing that the student org and the student government really cares about their organization itself. So as long as I'm on top
my work and I just like email them fast and do like all of my tasks that I'm given on time and take it seriously, then hopefully the students will see that the student clubs and student orgs on campus are being recognized. So it's a very small part, but I think it's also appreciated.
What drew you to this position specifically as opposed to the other like SOST positions, finance board positions that went through that are from SGA?
I actually was highly interested in a lot of them. So as the email was sent out, anything that didn't have to specifically do with numbers in general, like finance board directly, I was interested in. I am good with numbers kind of, but math isn't my strong point. So I talked to Carly about that, and so we kind of like went through and she helped me also figure out what position would be great for me.
Okay.
So I was interested in a lot of different positions because I am very adaptable, but yeah, Carly helped me with that.
She's a math major.
Yeah, she seems very good at math.
We'll teach many children. Other questions for our class? Anybody? No? Discussion points. Right.
I'm confident in your ability, and like one of my caveat was making sure that you knew the other options that you had, hearing the interests that you had, but if you already are aware of all the positions and you're still really interested in this one, I am. That's all I can say.
Like, yeah, I think for me, you seem really adaptable. And you're interested in various things. And so that's what I look for is like people that seem to have many different like pods of interest so that they can kind of mend to what's needed rather than like stuck in one place. So I appreciate that. Anything else for this?
Move to approve SL 25-1809.
Cool. Beautiful. Don't matter. Good job. All right. So number centers 4. Number centers against. Standing none. Here. Great. That's motion passes. Congratulations. Thank you. All right. So time to administer the oath. I will just take the oath. So who's going to come stand? You swear yourself in. Repeat after me. I will. Okay, so raise your right hand and just repeat after me, okay? I state your name.
I believe
Do solemnly affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of project manager, meeting preparation
the office of project manager
of the UBC Student Government Association.
of the UBC School Deputy System.
And will to the best of my ability promote and defend the interests and well-being of the UBC's undergraduate students. Congrats. So our SGA advisor, Candace Martinez, she'll be in contact with you shortly about like payroll and just like that process. So just keep an eye out for that. Cool. You feel free to stay, free to go. It's up to you.
Thank you so much.
I'll email you later with some more details and how this time.
I got your email.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right. So I think it makes me anxious.
Wasn't it? No, those were previous ones.
All right. So Chandler will be in after she does her cross practice. So she's currently working out. So we stand clean. Or king, you know, whatever she does with you. Or royalty. The generator's real turn. Okay. So. Guess what time it is? Alright, y'all. So, election extravaganza. So, I sent y'all an email saying, like, we all need to do better on, like, stepping up, and I do mean that. Like, when things literally typed out like, hey, can you help us? It is our duty, like literally explained in our hire letter, to be stepping up, okay? And if the secretary can do it, ooh, we all can do it. I can tell you that. So Robbie's not technically obligated to be there and that, but she's not. So we stand a queen. We're all awesome, and I know we all can do it. But I know it's just sometimes like that extra leap. But there's been a lot of effort put into this, so, and Colin's been stressing. Don't tell him it's one to throw that, but Colin did this. Colin's stressful. No, he's not stressful.
Colin is stressed? I didn't even tell you.
You're stressed. I'm stressed. All of E&E is stressed. It's just a big thing. So, one thing though that we can do is if you all haven't been able to volunteer yet for an event, please just give an hour. It goes until 11 o'clock. Just show up. Like, I'm going from 7 to closing like tomorrow. So, it's help. Seriously. It means a lot. And so, also though, what we can do is please go on their Facebook, invite and say you're going, and also invite at least 10 friends. I'm just literally saying at least 10 friends right now. Pull out your laptops, pull out your phones, hide your kids, hide your wife, do whatever is needed, okay? Yeah,
I forgot to get a shirt. Can I still get one?
have fun swimming.
Yeah, there are only like XLs and 2XLs left.
There are like 2 XLs left. So please
make a fashion statement.
At the very least, invite 10, but if you can invite more than that, that'd be beautiful. And Colin will probably cry. Do you know how shook I was when we got to see Colin had said, you all are beautiful people? Okay, that's how I knew he was proud.
Volunteering.
Yeah. I was like, I woke up and the first thing I read was, thank you. And I was like, thanks, Colin.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
So nice.
I know. So, yeah, if everybody can, so we're pulling out our laptops and inviting people to the E&E event and saying that we're going. And you have to invite at least 10 friends.
I don't have
Well, better go friend one of us and invite us. Also, try to invite non-SGA people, because there's already been like SGA blasts to this event, and we're trying to get people that like might not know about it. Just share the event on your page if you really feel like falling out. It's up to you.
What?
Hey, anybody that uses campus Wi-Fi? Seriously. Visitors better. Visitors. Also, you don't have to log in every time.
I'm on EDU room.
That's a joke.
EDU room is that's where it is.
Yeah.
That one doesn't connect to my laptop.
Oh, yeah, I have heard.
You gotta download the package thing.
I talked to the
We don't want that.
one of the do it guys. He's like, yeah, like we want to
Yeah,
get rid of we want to get rid of campus, but we can't because if we do wrong.
I was just visitor.
Yeah, I signed up for EU Roam.
Yeah, visitor doesn't ask.
They use EU Roam to have
No, true.
So I signed up for it and downloaded the package so I could connect every time I was up there. And I came into campus and I was like, oh, why am I connected? And signed up. So
Share as a post on my timeline. Oh, Brandon, you're going to this? That's crazy. Oh, Carly, you're going to this? That's crazy.
Actually, no, didn't I say maybe?
You definitely said go.
That's because
It goes until 11 o'clock. You all do not stay in meetings that long.
and Daniel's working incredibly.
Rehearsal because the MTC showcase is
If
this
you don't
weekend.
go to election extravaganza, I'm not going to the
I'm
show.
volunteering from like 3 to 4, so
Actually,
that's
to
There
be
you go.
fair,
You're
Colin
good
told us to mark going whether we were going or not.
Literally,
And
we're going
Daniel's-
whether or not you're going.
right, yeah.
Yeah, Colin was like, it doesn't matter whether you're going or not. You just need to mark going. I was
Yeah,
like,
so that everyone sees that you're going.
I'm inviting Hallie. Okay?
Yeah, do it.
Yes.
We're flexible.
For election extravaganza 2 years ago, I invited my entire friends list. And, like, there were people that were like at home. They were like, "Oh, can we come to this?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
all my friends with different universities.
Mary, did you invite people?
What is?
Are you inviting people or no?
No, you're
Huh?
See, this is a smart political science major right here. It's, can't have Facebook, you can't expose yourself to anything.
I'm still like disoriented already. These people are color.
Dave Hoffman.
David's already going.
Well, you said to invite people to this school, and you have to go have.
But you can't invite people that already sit there.
Then I don't have.
I'll invite Corey Lofter or something. Invite Candace. Why is she not?
Because she's going to be in finance board.
I don't have to do on Facebook. You'll let me on Facebook on my friends from other universities. I'm not telling NYU. NYU, come on down.
If you love the SGA, you wouldn't have a meeting with them. Tell Daniel I said that. Great.
Daniel's literally doing his best to pack the bugsy.
I sent 14 invites.
I don't know how many I sent. It doesn't tell me.
I sent
It sends it after you send it.
I sent it at least one.
Well, you got 10 more minutes to keep inviting people. Yep. Because we can't really talk about anything business oriented because half of our Senate is not here. So there's.
We have a quorum.
But that doesn't.
But it's just there.
Like I can't make like general comments and apply to everybody because.
Also, then one leads to the restroom, then lose a quorum and it's no longer function.
It's all good.
There's actually, by our guidance jobs, there's no actual definition as to what a quorum is. Yes. And then you're leaving.
Yeah, I gotta go with her.
And we are no longer in session.
Is your mom gonna make me food? I just don't want her to make me food. It's fine. I think Linda will make her something. Probably not.
Linda has done too much for this organization.
Really? What has she got?
I also love her not answer the question. What has she done? Well, I love her.
I mean, that's enough. Like, she's lucky. Just kidding. I
Linda's existence.
Brandon, are we eating after this? Should I just make food?
That's your mom's reading.
Yeah, check it. If it's not, then we will. If it is, then we will.
That's not like that. We still will use that.
Yeah, we did that one time because Brandon is bad. Can I expose you to the entire initiative?
I have no secrets.
Brandon literally doesn't do this one homework assignment until after Senate. That's literally nothing.
Oh, you know what?
And then he inconveniences our post-Senate talks because he has homework. That's just disrespectful.
Alright, I move to increase Brandon's pay by 500%. That's dinner money.
Why?
Why? Because I'm broke. Yeah, I'm not running it. I really like how you cut your SGA schedule. Oh, wow.
Sorry, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, the way this stuff looks really fancy.
Oh, yeah, it's the nice little die cut.
Alright, we can do it now.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Brenda. Can you give an update in 9 minutes?
Can we wait for Robbie to
Can I get a copy? What do you show?
Oh.
Or should I take over my
No, hold on.
It was now.
An up item.
Yes. So every first Monday of every month, college is supposed to give updates on the executive branch.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just what y'all been doing. Next thing you're doing. But hold on, we need our secretary to do that.
I gave like 3 people the
I have fancy to do it, like.
application for the specific initiatives. Yeah, so I think at least 2 will fall through next report.
Thanks, Ruth.
Brandon, if you want somewhere to be, well,
It's what you should tell the other yesterday.
You're right.
Because how many?
yeah, I'm sorry.
How many people have actually?
I like it on Friday.
Oh,
I don't like
actually,
Friday. I'm not sure. I figured you did, because you're and I'll say these. Brandon eats joke to everybody that's watching this. I hope somebody watches this in 3 years. Brandon's a fucking weirdo for eating yolk. Candace Martinez, know if you're watching this? No, he's a weirdo. Okay? For eating what? Yolk. He likes yolk. Yolk? Like the egg yolk.
With raw egg yolk?
No, like he likes like.
I mean, because it's not cooked.
Okay, impeachment. Someone find no.
You're not supposed to eat raw eggs.
We've never impeached anybody, but tonight is the day, I guess. Somebody pull up the guiding docs.
There's poached eggs. There's.
You like that watery ass yolk?
You like salt.
Brandon, you're a whole mess.
That's disgusting. We cook our whites.
Oh, you do?
It's not.
Oh, that's what I meant. Like,
No.
you over easy.
What is over easy?
It means the yolk is not cooked through.
It's like
disgusting.
But the yolk is the yellow.
So, but like you can cut it open and then like.
Can you call it
Have you ever had eggs Benedict?
Yeah, right. But like
It's yellow. That's over. That's a poached egg.
You
know,
that's you guys have to see it's like where the whites are cooked and then like the yellow thing in the middle, and when you see people cut it in, like it opens up and like it has a nice ooze out.
I don't eat eggs.
What is it called when the eggs
Well done.
Hard boiled.
hard boiled?
Yeah. Over hard.
Oh.
Over?
Yeah, if you cook all the way through.
Over.
Yeah.
I think well done is better.
Oh,
I don't think it's
and
well
Brenda,
done.
I think
I wanna
someone
wear
had a question about Zane's use of Ian.
Zane's use of what?
Of Ian.
What does that mean?
How he misquoted what Ian stands for.
We stand us.
Oh, yeah.
But y'all soft boiled eggs.
Stop. No, stop.
That's not a thing.
Yes,
It's
it
like
is.
you know how like eggs like have that resistance when it's cooked through. It goes like.
It has to be about egg
What would you
texture.
do in crunch?
So it exists. It's
So
not
So you
like
only
the
want
best.
to, you only want me to make you an egg that's over easy. You only want an egg that's over easy.
I mean,
I don't even have the skill needed to make it over easy egg. You have a whole bunch. How long is that really?
Yeah, you just crack it on and then you cook it.
It's how many?
Take it off. You like it's not.
the font's all red.
It's
You just say you waited.
you just don't break
How
it.
do you like this? You saved a 12
Eggs
page
start
review
coming out.
for $2. Alright,
Oh yes, please.
Robbie?
Nuggets.
Brenda is going to give an abbreviated 5-minute. I'm kidding. Can you do it 5 minutes? Is that
Oh, I can do less than 5 minutes.
Okay, so she's gonna give the executive board update. That way we don't have to do it after this meeting. Yeah. Love it. Thanks y'all for inviting people. Colin's probably gonna cry now. Congrats.
Let's make it happen.
Go ahead.
Okay, so, I guess I can go from the top one. So Colin and I have been meeting with a bunch of student organizations regarding sexual misconduct and campus content. The main purpose of those meetings is to kind of get an idea of how everyone's feeling, if they like the crime alerts increasing, if they like the Recruiter Courage website, just basically getting an idea of how students are feeling. Because we have, our own thoughts and we want to back it up with data from students. And so we're also surveying them after speaking to them. We've met with maybe 20 to 30 words so far, and around 150 of these been fed students, with like a lot more planned. So that's what we're doing. What else? Election extravaganzas on Tuesday. Tomorrow. Which is tomorrow. I have no positive time. Please go. It'll be fantastic. It'll be so much fun. And then executive council is working on the environmental stuff. They are also working on a peer mentorship thing, like I mentioned, for, I think it's just first year transfer students, to help with advising and what it's like to be on campus and stuff like that. And then one of our executive council members is also working on this idea where each academic department has a team of students, like a student advisory council that would have to be consulted before any like decisions about the major or minor or requirements like that are made. Because she mentioned that in her department they just changed some of the requirements for the major and students didn't want that to happen. So that's what she's working on. All of these executive council projects have my unique posts, and they're asking for people who might be interested to sign up on those posts, and not just SGA people, but like anyone who might want to help them. So spread the word about those. Communications is
It is indeed boring. Alright, pals. So do we have questions for Brenda? How are the, for people signing up, are there people actually like starting to sign up or, okay, good.
They're like fairly new, yeah. I don't know exact numbers because
Just want to make sure it's like it. That's good.
But what you guys need, what ways to get from the like feeling of campus climate or student organization to concrete? Is it
So-
surveys?
yeah, we're doing surveys. The surveys have 3 like multiple choice questions. So the choices are like strongly disagree to strongly agree. And we made 3 statements. One was about how people feel about the campus police leadership. One was about, do you feel like you're safe on campus generally? And then the third one was about, do you feel like administrators are doing enough? And so we basically want to get like hard numbers for how students are feeling because we feel like administration is in a bit of a bubble. And so they're talking amongst themselves and making assumptions, and we don't want that to happen. So we're getting numbers to back this up.
Any other questions, or should we start our conversation? Alright, hello. We're going to go through introductions, and then we'll ask you these questions, okay? I'm Lily, I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Speaker of the Senate. Here today.
My name is Lincoln. Sorry,
I'm Taylor. I use she, her, they, them.
I'm Brandon. I'm the Assistant Speaker for Senate, and I use you.
I'm Robbie, Secretary. I use she, her, them. I'm Lloyd. I'm the Senate FYI, and I use she, her.
I'm Mary, the advisor of MSU, so we don't use she.
I'm Brenda, the Executive Vice President, and she will come.
I'm Reese, FYA, and I see him.
So if you just want to take a few minutes to tell us like about yourself, like any relevant background, like supporting activities or experiences you had, and what drew you to the position.
So I'm a junior right now in chemical engineering major on the environmental track, and I'm also minoring in public administration and policy. So the reason I'm minoring is because my career, my future career, my aspirations are inherently political because I'm interested in environmental work, and that's very politicized. So like, that's why I want to get a background in policy and policy making process. And like in that journey, I have gotten like really interested in politics and just like civic engagement. So like I actually am the junior Harvard chair for this program called the Reach Initiative, and it's a volunteer program that focuses on engaging high school girls who are interested in STEM like activities, as well as kind of leading. Like my role is to lead discussions that are about like social issues or anything that's relevant to their lives. So like actually this past weekend, because this is like election days tomorrow, I kind of led an hour-long discussion about like why politics is important to me. So yeah, just like little things like that is kind of what I'm interested in. That's kind of that mindset is what drew me to the position. Fabria reached out to me about it, and she was describing it to me, and election night extravaganza specifically was kind of the biggest drawing factor, and I think it's a really good initiative. And I remember the one in 2016. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing because E&E, as you know, is tomorrow. Obviously, so there's a chance. But election strategy in a more broader context is it includes coffee and conversation and any other kind of civic engagement work around the midterms that we want to continue even past the elections. So at the Ria's recommendation, we decided that there would be fantastic in that role. Because of our experience leading conversations around that topic.
Cool. Alright, so one question for you after.
So I get that there's a other stuff on that after the midterm elections are done, what are the long-term goals for E&E? Because I don't see her appointing someone to a position for associate director with the amount of pay. If the majority of what they're going to do is within the next month, and then maybe one or two events that spread throughout the year, I just don't think that an associate director and being as high up as it is would be best fit for that.
So coffee and conversation is the biggest thing that will continue past tomorrow. And there ideally would be more than 1 or 2. I know when Colin did it last year, we had maybe 4. We're looking at hopefully like 4 or 5, 6, like way more and more frequent.
Can I add something? So when I had a meeting with Colin last week, I think it was last Thursday or something like that, he was talking about like his vision for this position in this field at least was to like he wanted me to look at what other schools are doing to engage people in politics and things of that nature. And so like just something that I thought of was I think it would be really cool to sponsor events or try to like coordinate something that involves people in local politics. And then I mean that's just like an idea, I haven't looked into it much, but he said like the other schools and see what they're doing.
So coffee and conversations, what topics would they, I guess, fall under? Like,
So in the past, they've been about healthcare, gun control, really any kind of hot topic issue in politics.
Have you been doing any additional work like with this election up against the actual event that's happening tomorrow? Are you involved in the planning up to the event, or are you volunteering for some of it?
I'm volunteering for it, but I was approached about it a few weeks ago, so I'm doing that. But I'm also
Which I think doesn't fall back on damage and more.
Yeah, no, I was just curious as to like if they were more throughout, but it's just to go out to the company.
Yeah, gotcha. Other questions for Taylor?
Would they have to be an associate director to work in this position?
That is what we need, yes. Ideally, the coffee and conversations are the work of several organizations coming together, just like E&E was. So we saw an associate director having the role of coordinating like a ton of different orgs and kind of delegating tasks in that way.
Thank you.
Also, for more context, how would you compare coffee conversations to the meeting in terms of scope of the event? Like workload, another one like within the do, and then the impact that it has in the university that are comparing.
So E&D is more of a kind of super, I guess, big ticket SGA thing. So it's one night, kind of like on agenda sort of thing. I think coffee and conversation is more of an application of the concepts from E&E. So it gives people a chance to talk about issues that are important to them personally in a kind of small
like the idea behind it. I don't know, just the name feels weird to put down the context of electronic extravaganza since we are the night before. But I see the importance of what to be done. I'd like to confirm that way it can be done. I don't know, the name just is not sitting with me, if that makes sense. Just because like it feels like the name is associated with the big night, and we are.
Wait, I mean, you have a question? Okay, you were waiting for that question.
So will you be participating in the forum?
She said she'd be volunteering.
Will you be volunteering?
For me, the name makes sense actually, because I think like when you're listing out flagship initiatives, like for example, with the other one that we passed earlier on, it's like Prove It, and I think like they're distinguishing who's doing what, because technically Prove It is a big flagship initiative, but they're going to be working on them separately, is my understanding. So I guess for like clarity, that's why that one says it, because if we were to leave it like that, then the one we passed like 4 weeks ago would then be confusing, because it could be misunderstood that it was working with Taylor's position.
That's true.
So with Popping Conversation, we're actually going to be doing the same logos, messaging, same sort of stuff as Lunch and Extravaganza. So it's part of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of positions. Are we in discussion questions?
Discussion.
I know we didn't ask too many questions, so we asked most of our questions to that, but I'm pretty confident in the abilities and the scope of work that you've done so far and your interests. I feel like this aligns well with also.
Right, any other final points? No? Alright, somebody different, who's doing this?
I move to amend SL 24-189
To do what?
to change the date of introduction. If I need a second to. Alright, I move to amend the date of introduction from October 29, 2018 to November 5th, 2018. Online.
Yeah, if you move to amend, just let us know what, because then people are seconding things they don't know about.
That's true, but the way it says that I have to get a second before I can talk about what I want to change. If someone has to agree to change the document, they don't have to then agree to my changes.
Kind of, we don't follow like Robert's rules that closely.
That's what Colin told me last time we did it. That's why. If it's not like that, then that's beautiful.
I'll ask
I'd
you,
rather
because
not
then it
do
makes
that.
it confusing when people don't know what they're seconding.
Yeah, now I remember the first thing I was talking is like you have to get a second for the amendment before, because I was assuming that you would just amend to make the changes you wanted. It was
Cool,
weird.
so it's this right? Great.
I'm cool with this.
Alright, so, is there a motion?
Move to approve SL 24-189.
As amended. Second.
Good call. Alright, member senators for? Member senators against? Abstaining? And with this, the motion passes. Yay! Great! Alright, Taylor, I'm going to administer the oath and then you're free to go. So, come over here, stand, raise your right hand, repeat after me. Okay. So I state your name. Do solemnly affirm that I will faithfully execute that I will faithfully the office of Associate Director, Special Projects and Flagship Initiatives, Election Extravaganza. So Associate Director, Special Projects and Flagship Initiatives, Election Extravaganza of the UMBC Student Government Association. And will to the best of my ability. Promote and defend. The interests and well-being. Of UMBC's undergraduate students. Yes. Yep. And Candace Martinez Doe, the SGA advisor, will be reaching out to you soon about like, payroll and getting on there and stuff. So just keep an eye out. Thank you, Taylor. Yes, thank you. Leave. I know.
We cast you out.
Tell your mom I love her, though I don't know her. I love your mom. And like, she can make me food by May 23rd. When I graduate. I can't make you food after you graduate. I mean, I'll probably be in a different state, so. Sure. me, Brenda.
I love you. Thank you for staying.
I love you all.
Absolutely.
Nobody watched me hobble out of this room.
Live stream, pay close attention to the watches. So what is that?
Why like is so sweet? All right, y'all. Announcements. What do we got? Election extravaganza. We don't need Miriam back.
I'd be interested to see how her workshop went.
Yeah.
Well, we can give other updates until then. I'm not going to adjourn the meeting without her since she's absent, but we can talk about other things. So, election extravaganza. If you're not there, it's swear. Like, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, if Robbie and the FYAs can make it, y'all sure as hell can. Okay? That's all I'm saying. What else is happening? I have an eye appointment on Saturday. Just hope I'm not dead. It's fine.
I think we briefly addressed it in our last USC update last week, but USC is interested in SGA having a more broad survey of how undergraduate students are utilizing counseling services in UHS, and wanting to hear more from the people that are speaking now, and having a body that's more representative of undergraduate students.
Is that for rec renewal or
Probably.
sickle cell or
right?
food?
So it's about that. It's about this is about how like a lot of or what we're hearing from undergraduate students that are speaking is that they don't want the move to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And what is also interesting is because before undergraduates were like, we need better facilities, and so now they're trying to get better facilities, but now we're like, we don't want it to move.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to. The USC is interested in hearing from more students.
That's good.
Haven't they already put it on hold? The movie.
The move is on hold, and now the new information.
Oh, yeah. The hold happened, but because they have this time for their rest, it's more time for us to gain information.
And also, we don't want to acknowledge it as like time for this. Like this is why they made the hold, is because they kept hearing this loud like phrase, and so that I think we should be doing our due diligence to be reaching out to undergraduate students, whether it be a survey, whether it be a conversation. I know for contact GSA students.
What?
Do you want me to share or?
Oh no, I can do it. I was just waiting.
USC's University students.
I'm just scared of survey because I feel like it's a very nuanced issue and there's a lot of background. Like when I was explaining to it at first, I was like, oh wait, no, that's like, we should keep it there. But then Dr. Young was like, oh, like we wanted to keep it like it all centralized. So I was like, well, that makes very much sense to me as well. So like, there's good points on both sides, and I just want people to hear both sides so they can make an informed decision.
So what I'm hearing is that the survey should have like a preface with that information.
Yeah, hopefully people will actually read it. I'm not optimistic about that.
But it was the survey having the first 1 or 2 pages being straight information before they get to questions.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it our job to be worried about the survey being representative of the undergraduate students?
Can you say that one more time?
Oh, sorry. Oh, like.
Kind of. So Kai asked if it was our responsibility to ensure that the survey that is given out is representative of this undergraduate student body. I'd argue to a certain degree, yeah, because you could argue that the best way to get students to take things is by like a peer-to-peer kind of thing, or like encouraging each other to take it. So especially under this administration of like UMBC and people being upset with administration.
Okay.
So I'd say yes. Now like we're not expected to be putting up like data reports and stuff. It's really just like a Google Doc and forwarding it to the USC.
Okay, so like.
And I'm sure that I think it'll be made for us potentially. Maybe. Ask them to make it for us.
So creating the survey and distributing it, or just distributing and not creating it?
Probably, well, Brandon can ask that on Friday.
Oh, right.
I emailed you, yeah.
Cool. I think that would maybe probably be the ones, just because they're going to be undergraduate Senate. So if USC is going to do that, I doubt that they're going to have their numbers take time out.
Well, you could argue might be that graduate students also use the services, so.
That's true.
But it might be like a collaborative effort.
Yeah, I don't see like the rest of the USC.
Wait, can you repeat the point?
That it's probably going to be the onus either on us or us in conjunction with Graduate Students Association to create a Senate survey. For some reason, I could be totally wrong, but I don't see the rest of the USC taking their time out to create the survey for the undergraduates. I can see them giving us the information what they want, but I don't see them making the survey.
I mean, they took the time out for the campus plan. So, I mean, like I'm saying, like I wouldn't like cut them off completely yet.
Yeah,
so.
no, I'm not saying they would, but that's just an assumption. Campus plan is related to the Senate.
Then I'll let you all know next week if they do end up offering, or if they do end up helping us with it, or if we're going to do it on our own. But I'll work through it more after.
Brandon's going to be attending that on Friday. I have missed 3 Mosaic staff meetings, which means 6 weeks because of USC and like traveling and stuff. So, to not lose my job, we're going to go. Plus, Colin can't make it either because he will not be here either. So, probably be another Brenda Brandon session. But that's what SGA is about. So, we'll be doing that. I sent you all meeting invites. Please respond to them. If it doesn't work with your schedule, just let me know. Like, respond no and tell me why, and I can try to find a different time. But it is important that we all be meeting with each other. Brandon should be sending out his shortly. Yeah. He's doing fine. SRC reports were due last Thursday. If you didn't do it, do it now. Other than that, any other announcements? Miriam, we wanted to know how your Saturday session went.
Nobody came. Only 2 people came. And David Trin and Katrina, Brenda and Reese, and his boy Sean. So it was just two attendants that were not officers, but it was fine. We made it happen. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, we say it's because it was 10:30 on Saturday.
Yeah, that's what we're attributing it to. But also, just not having a lot of like, I guess, how do you say like front? Yeah, like Katrina is just like specific like term that I want to
like advanced
incorporate in my vocabulary. No, it was something like marketing.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was a better term.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for me it was a lot of just like, I know some people weren't able to go because they didn't know until like later in the week, but we know for the future now.
Yeah.
You still did good work. We appreciate you. Brandon?
So SRC is, well, Tanya and I are trying to roll out a new website that'll hopefully centralize the links that you all are getting. So it's going to be SGA. Can I pull it up?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to say sga.edu.src-submit, and so that you should all have access to the SRCs, like if you feel like submitting before I remind everyone. And it currently has FAQ things for people, and like reiterating, if there's a reason why you cannot submit it, please let us know before the deadline. And so we'll click here, and currently it links to the 11. It links to the 11-2, so last Thursday's. So like, if you haven't submitted it and you still need to submit it, you have like until Tanya and I update the link to be the next 5 of the SEC.
Cool.
So I'll start sharing that link instead of a hyperlink to a specific thing.
Cool. Thanks. Any other updates from anybody before we end this meeting? No? Alright, so I adjourned the meeting at 8:24. What?
Is anyone opposed to me? Is anyone opposed to me sharing the live stream on the SGA Facebook page before the at the start of the meeting?
Nope.
Nope. I'll start doing that.
But I have a question about that, because sometimes it gets cut, and it'll be like only 54 minutes in this it's like the last part of the meeting that's being showed on the YouTube page. I don't know if that's.
Are you sure that there's not a video before that? Sometimes it'll cut into 2 videos. I don't know if you're just looking at the most recent one and not looking at the one before it.
Okay.
So it might include
I didn't know that it was doing that, because
Yeah.
before it'd be like the whole thing, and then recently I've noticed it'll be just like the ending.
Yeah, if it cuts, then there should be the one before, because we always start the stream. So it doesn't start streaming halfway through.
But when we were looking for like when we were doing our little communications initiative, we were thinking of like doing things, or like we were thinking of flipping the live stream so we could like share that and stuff like that, but we couldn't find the videos, and we felt that it was split into 2, but some of them are just like bare chopped like in half.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just one half or the other.
Yeah, one half or the other, or like like the Rabowski meeting was only one video.
Mm-hmm.
I know sometimes there are issues for if the live stream stopped in the middle, like when we go to, for like certain things where we go to break and we turn off the live stream. I don't know if there's issues there, but we haven't done that in a while, so.
We never turn off the live stream during break, so.
I know the live stream shuts off after like 9:30.
Right, sometimes it'd be like that.
I don't know, we'll look into it though. We'll go back and look before you start that. Cool.
But yeah, I think it would improve our viewership from like 2 or 3 to hopefully